So sebelum kita memulakan spoiler talk kita malam ini, aku rasa agak penting kita bincangkan reaksi kita terhadap pendedahan bahawa Transformers Rise of the Beast bukanlah sebuah reboot menurut Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, penerbit bagi Transformers franchise. Di dalam sebuah wawancara bersama laman Cinema Blend, dia mengesahkan we don't look at it as a separate universe antara Bayformers dengan filem-filem baru ni. We look at it as a timeline, 1987, 1994, 2007 and so on and so forth. You know, the tricky part of it for us is also an opportunity to not contradict what we did later on. But one of the fun things I think for fans is that Optimus Prime has a character arc in here that explains really in a way who he is in 2007 when you meet him. And I think that's really exciting. I think that's an interesting thing and that's the advantage of going earlier. Jadi aku ada satu soalan untuk semua panelis. Apakah pendapat anda tentang kenyataan penerbit Transformers Rise of the Beast ni bahawa filem ini bukanlah sebuah reboot kepada Bayformers? So kita mulakan dengan Shaz. Silakan Shaz.
Aku rasa dia tak tengok the Bayformers ni. Sebab kalau you compare the timeline, you akan dapat senario di mana Optimus Prime akan sampai ke bumi for the first time 2 kali. And then in Bayformers kelima, Unicron was Earth. So what, macam mana dalam Rise of the Beast ni Unicron is coming from a different direction and you know that's dia kata sendiri apa, kita ada banyak space untuk buat in the previous ni so that dia tak link, dia tak kacau the future timeline, and yet right now as it is without any revisions to the history in Bayformers, you dah ada problem explaining it as a single timeline. So I think somebody did not get the memo in this case.
Betul. Jamal, apa pula pendapat kau? Have you seen all 7 Transformers films?
Yep. Aku rasa dia minat Starscream. Dia tak mahu menerima yang Starscream tak mati-mati sebenarnya. Itu je. It's I know. I think if aku rasa bila dia cakap macam tu, for all I know, it's something that he may have thought up on the spot. Sebab I don't really care if it's a reboot or not. But as an idea where, you know what, this can be something that it was pre-2007. Yeah, I can see why it would make sense to somebody or anybody yang nak buat filem. It's not a problem. Especially bila dia tak pernah ada connection dengan Bayformers. It's cool, aku tak kisah. But the moment he starts explaining the idea that, oh, this is, you get to see how Prime was before 2007 punya Bayformers 1, the moment he starts explaining it from that angle, then everything goes to shit. Kalau dia just kata macam, you don't have to see it as a reboot, you know, it can still be, you know, you can still watch it. Kalau dia cakap macam tu je, lebih kurang je, then kita okay, you know. Sebab this is just someone trying to be diplomatic. Bayformers was part of the production team, benda tu kisah. Tapi the moment they start explaining benda tu macam, okay, too bad lah bro. There is no way you can take it back. There is no way you can come back. Kau dah tak boleh patah balik lah. Statement tu kau dah tak boleh patah balik lah. Kalau dia just buat in general, kalau dia just cakap, I don't understand why people are so hung up whether is this a reboot or not. You can still watch it. Kalau dia cakap lebih macam tu, okay, we give him that. So too bad lah. Aku rasa too bad lah. Kalau aku cynical cakap, kalau benda ni continuous, then that is not surprising sebab tak ramai orang suka Bayformers. The only reason why everybody loves Bayformers 1 in 2007 is because we got to see it live action, itu je. And everyone who's been a fan of Transformers, either Beast Wars atau either starting from Beast Wars ataupun G1, you just wanted to see the Optimus punya transformation sequence the first time, itu je. In live action. So outside of that, the first film tak ada apa-apa sangat.
And what's worrying kalau apa yang Rodin tu cakap betul, maksudnya unicorn akan jadi ni sometime in the future past. Yeah,
I mean like, you know what, benda tu kan, we have seen across the first 5 Bayformers yang dia putar alam gila babi. So it is not difficult for you to have a film that is after this one, after Rise of Machines ni, but before Bayformers 1, where it says, oh sebenarnya Scourge tu dia punya lord bukan Unicron pun. You know, there is this Unicron punya younger brother. Sebenarnya dia nak makan bumi sebab apa, ada banyak energon, tapi energon tu ada kat situ sebab the real Unicron. You know what, some fucker is going to write something like that if they want to make it continuous lah. So now if they're going to pass it to another director, that director has a big problem. Weh babi, kau pergi cakap benda ni continuous buat apa? Sekarang kau nak aku tulis cakap macam mana? Now you passing the reboot punya responsibility to me pula. Cakap je lah benda ni kena-mena. So
senang, benda senang, kau nak ada out.
Senang.
Yeah, suddenly terdengar macam sequel trilogy Star Wars lah pula. Deng.
No lah, I mean like kalau kau sini kau tengok semua Transformers punya attempt for their IP since 1996, Beast Wars means cartoon, semua macam ni pun. Like every new thing will always be somebody say, okay, you know what, let's break away from whatever that's been done before. Let's try to do it better or whatever. So it's no surprise lah live action macam ni kan.
Itulah. Alright guys, so aku rasa since kita ada soalan, dengan itu kita akan bincangkan 5 sebab mengapa kita benci Transformers Rise of the Beast. So segmen pertama kita ataupun sebab hampir pertama adalah The Humans, iaitu Noah, Chris, Brianna dan Elena. So untuk segmen ni aku ada 2 soalan. Soalan pertama untuk Shaz. Apakah pendapat anda tentang the 2 human leads, Noah Diaz lakonan Anthony Ramos dan juga Elena Wallace lakonan Dominic Fishback, serta subplot Noah dengan keluarganya, iaitu ibunya Brianna Diaz dan juga adiknya Chris Diaz, yang pada aku mengacau from the main plot. So silakan Shaz.
Aku rasa here's an interesting point lah. I think they acted well to the characters they were given. So aku rasa the writing crew or the decision makers yang buat the characters as they are. So I cannot blame the actors. They did their roles well. People who live in that era, I suppose, acted in this kind of way lah, especially in that kind of culture dengan that kind of neighborhood and environment. So aku rasa, funnily enough, I am okay with them being there. I mean, I don't appreciate dia orang jadi plot device, but as characters, I think they were just they were not really annoying. They were just average, and most of my attention pun was more on the Transformers punya character side lah. So dari segi cuma aku tak puas hati bila Noah tu this Optimus Prime masa dekat cinema tu kan, I think everybody macam wow, macam like this guy, kau ingat kau siapa weh? So I hope he didn't get any actual hit on that lah, because that would not have been fair, man. But yeah, the characters were not memorable, but they were also not really like forgetful. So I guess they were a necessary evil lah as far as the story is concerned.
Alright, soalan seterusnya adalah untuk Jamal ya. I mean, ini dah filem ke-7. So selepas 6 Transformers movie, mengapakah pada pendapat Paramount Pictures kita masih memerlukan a human intermediary sebagai a storytelling hook untuk the mainstream audience? I mean, diorang dapat 4 billion because people love the robots, not Sam Witwicky ke, Megan Fox ke, Mark Wahlberg ke. So silakan.
I know, man. For me, there's so many ways to cut this lah. Kalau kau minat G1, you cannot do a Transformers anything without humans. and semua purist akan suka G1, so memang kau kena ada humans, because essentially Transformers is a story where an alien species, an advanced alien species gaduh sampai terus kena buang negeri. Lepas tu cerita ni adalah cerita mereka-mereka yang telah dibuang negeri tu, macam mana cara mereka nak balik-balik. And mereka sambil diorang tengah cari jalan nak balik-balik tu, diorang cerita tu punya setting adalah dekat negeri lain ataupun tempat lain. So the premise is already in another planet, in another place kan. So you kind of have to have that lah. So aku fair lah benda tu. The problem is though, you overthink on how to make the humans an attractive part of the story. That is for me the problem lah. Because kalau dalam G1, dia tak fikir pun benda tu. Dia macam, okay, Transformers kat bumi. Lepas tu semua cerita adalah Transformers ni, especially Decepticons, nak cari Energon lah, nak curi teknologi lah, just doing whatever they possibly can to fucking repair their ship or to set up some kind of a base, get enough energy and technology to fucking go back to Cybertron. Itu je cerita dia. Dia bukan Megatron kata okay lah, kita give up lagi Cybertron, kita jadikan bumi Cybertron 2. Tak ada pun. So kerana Decepticon tu punyalah taksub sangat apa yang kita boleh dapat dari planet ni, so kita boleh balik Cybertron sebelum Autobots balik Cybertron balik. That's how Earth got involved. But the moment you give it to live action, tu kau tengok semua banyak director, well let's just talk about Bay lah kan, sebab Bay yang buat the first 5 kan. Bay macam okay, so sekarang ni macam mana kita nak menunjukkan yang bumi react kepada mereka. Jadi you can do that for like 2 of the 5 Bayformers, but then again the moment you are starting to leave that, because he never really resolved that story pun. Kalau tengok the first 2, you kind of think that okay, dia dah ada, the Autobots dah ada macam some kind of a collaboration atau cooperation dengan humans. Kau masuk 3, benda tu dah hilang. I mean, you have the skeletons of it, but the story is not about really that anymore. Betul ada Mark Wahlberg tu macam. So what are you trying to say? Because Bay is never good at setting things up and then laying everything out. So rugi lah. Kalau macam aku, you just focus on how Decepticons is trying to bloody take advantage of Earth. And then Prime adalah orang yang macam, sial lah kau, kita orang saintis, kita tak boleh biarkan kau rosakkan planet orang yang kau terkandas ni semata-mata kau nak balik Cybertron and then to continue doing the same shit at Cybertron. So we are not really, sayang Earth, but if we do nothing, 1, you'll go back to Cybertron first, and 2, it goes against our principles as scientists, and 3, we are going to get stuck here and we are not going to be able to do anything before you fuck around the rest of the universe. Then it becomes compelling. So but Bay is Bay lah. So aku rasa humans are fine. I don't have an issue with it. The problem is that I think it's how good or bad the movie and how good or bad the humans were written, and then people focus on that so much because people always want to find an excuse to like, kenapa benda ni taik focus on humans. Okay, that's the big headline sebab dia human sangat. Tak cukup robot, that's the big headline. Everybody's just looking for that. Lepas tu orang kata cerita human ni tak cukup best. Lepas tu bila dah cukup best, kita macam, tapi ni Transformers, sepatutnya pasal robot, bukan pasal human. Then you'll never win lah. So aku rasa okay je. I'm saying with Shaz, I think the human characters are cool. I thought the writing team did a pretty good job in like figuring out and balancing out kita nak buat benda ni tie in to 2007 lah, following on from Bumblebee lah. They did a pretty good job writing a human characters, because if you look at it, these human characters don't really fucking want to be there put in the first place. So in that sense, yeah, that's pretty much G1 lah. Kan kau kat sini, lepas tu kau interact dengan humans, ada je lah, mesti ada humans yang macam extra curious, and this is what you get lah, tu je. And I think the scene where Mirage convinced the dude to tolong dia nak curi benda kat Alice punya museum tu, that is pretty much how humans got involved. And I really like that. It's a pretty nice way of writing it, the humans into the story. And then their attitude towards humans tolong dia orang, benda tak suka lah, manusia ni
betul.
Bodoh lah.
Prime macam
Prime lah you cakap tu kan. So in that sense, I get it if the director says aku nak benda ni prelude to 2007 punya Bayformers. Yeah, cool. But the thing is, kita dah ada Unicron. The thing is, Starscream dah mati. The thing is, banyak continuity ke lari. So,
tapi at the same time, if you think about it, they've been on Earth for 7 years, and kalau this is a sequel kepada prequel Bumblebee tu, that means there was a section of the government looking after them, yang Muhammad John Cena tu,
Yeah.
he was a sector. So what happened to John Cena over the 7 years kalau this is a sequel kan? Like dia orang tak address langsung.
This is his problem lah. Tu aku cakap, dia bagi jawapan tu jawapan on the spot. Sebab kalau dia bukan jawapan on the spot, dia dah boleh jawab, standby nak jawab soalan tu dah. Although that government department would have been made some kind of cameo, but they didn't.
Ya, pasal
Jawapan meme ada.
Apa dia?
Meme answer ada. Tapi aku malas nak tegur. But I think the biggest sin lah is that they did not bring back the human character from Bumblebee.
Oh, Hailee Steinfeld.
Yeah, because I mean you didn't have to give her the main role. Just had her be there so that you acknowledge that yes, this is the same Bumblebee from the first Bumblebee film that we got. So there's a continuity there. And she is the mungkin human anchor. Dia tengok these two kan macam like I think they are orang yang boleh dipercayai despite being someone who wanted to rob the place, character yang this type of very macam mana kata excitable punya character. So how would you be able to judge if you do not have someone yang boleh judge those characters for you? So having the first Bumblebee, the human character along will help the Autobots to determine sebenarnya dia ni boleh dipercayai. So because they trust that first girl that they met for so long ago, yang Bumblebee dah kawan for so long, it will become an easier task rather than relying on people they totally tak tahu anything about, and then tiba-tiba we can trust them. Like, apa basisnya you boleh trust dia orang just like that?
Going on Shah's point, you just need 2 extra lines. Mira says it was okay when B did it. That's it.
Yeah.
One, and then B boleh cakap, Pra, you know what? Did you forget about Hailee Steinfeld? She's pretty alright. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't even have to cast Hailee Steinfeld. Just make a fucking reference to that and then you're done.
Yeah, masa scene meeting tu. Yeah, they should have brought it up.
That's it. It's like a line. It's one line. You can even benda ni dah shoot, lepas tu masuk ke buat focus group. Alamak, kita lupa tak ada connective tissue Boleh tak kita macam ambil satu shot, lepas tu kita buang dia punya audio, lepas tu kita punch in dialogue. Boleh ke? Because this, I mean, it's not a problem.
Ya, itulah. Aku rasa they drop the ball on that one lah. Alright, so dengan itu kita akan ke hit kita yang kedua.
Hit kedua
Alright, so sebab hamba kita yang kedua adalah tentang Jazz dan Rattrap ataupun kehilangan Jazz dan juga Rattrap daripada filem yang bertajuk Rise of the Beast. Alright, soalan pertama adalah untuk Shaz. Apakah pendapat anda tentang pemilihan Mirage sebagai the main Autobot dalam filem ini, dan bukannya Bumblebee? Dia benci sangat Bumblebee sampai Bumblebee kena bunuh dalam first act. Tapi Mirage yang dalam filem ni dia bertopengkan the look and feel of Jazz daripada kartun Transformers G1. What's that all about? So silakan.
So dia punya, this was a big issue lah when I first saw the character in the trailer, like okay, this is Mirage, and then bila tengok dia punya perangai tu macam Jazz, so macam like what are they doing kan? Because you see, I went into this film with a lot of expectations honestly. Aku rasa given the hype of the past few films leading up to Rise of the Beast, so there was a lot of unfair hype coming in. So aku punya disappointment was even bigger lah. Aku faham kenapa they give Jazz punya what they call it, mannerisms kepada Mirage, because Jazz feels more suited for the Bronx, the slums of New York punya style. That is, the mannerisms is more suitable. So I feel that they needed Mirage punya ability to tell the story, so they had to take Mirage, but they had to use Jazz punya ability, mannerisms, dia punya attitude, because it links better to the human punya characters.
Are you saying that Jazz is black? Are you being Isi sekarang kau nak kena cancel ke
Ah,
ha?
Tak, I'm saying that they enjoy music just like them lah. So nak kata kita semua tak enjoy music, tak adalah. But that was the impression I got as a kid, because they were very into jazz music, hence kan the song. Sorry, dia punya name macam tu. And the thing is, when you take this kind of change, and for orang yang tak ada past connection in terms of fandom towards Transformers, that means they're coming straight from Bumblebee masuk ke filem ni, it will be no issue. But for people yang ada recollection of Mirage and Jazz, seeing them merge into the same character is a bit slightly confusing. And also dia punya problemnya kat sini is that in Bumblebee, the premise was that ini adalah based on the 80s. This is not Bayformers adaptation. This is like, they even gave us the first 5 minutes fully CGI fighting in Cybertron with all the original looks. So we're like, oh my god, this is the 80s versions that we wanted. The boxy Transformers, tak ada macam like angle pelik and so on. So with that expectation coming into this film, when you change the character, that means you merge two different 80s Transformers into one, dia akan jadi very jarring lah for those fans yang dah tengok since G1. But kalau kita for the character by itself standalone, kalau kita tak pernah ada introduction or link kepada the Jazz and or Mirage in the past, I think the character was well written. So a lot of my expectation ni is because I ada banyak memory of the past lah from the G1. So kalau you were a big fan of these characters, you akan have a lot of questions mark, why did they combine it? But as a character on its own, it was actually well written to fit dengan the characters, the human characters. So it was well paired in that sense lah. So yeah, I guess it's a good character, cuma it wasn't really appealing to those who are longer fans lah, I would say.
Okay, alright. Soalan kedua adalah untuk Jamal. I think there's a reverb from your end. Okay, so soalan ni, apakah pendapat anda tentang ahli Maximals yang paling licik, Rattrap, diabaikan daripada muncul langsung di dalam filem ini? So silakan.
Ayat-ayat kontroversi. Aku ada apa-apa nostalgia terhadap Rattrap. As a matter of fact, my gripe was not seeing Cheetor transform. I think Eraser tak transform aku tak kisah, because Beast Wars, Rattrap helped carry the first 2.5 seasons, but in the middle to get them through to the last hurrah of the final couple of seasons, it was Cheetor clashing with siapa dinosaur raptor yang daripada Decepticon tapi dia masuk Autobot, masuk Maximal, apa nama dia?
Aku tak sure dia percaya.
Kan there was a Velociraptor, there was a raptor that wanted to be the leader for Decepticons, tapi he is a much nicer version of Starscream, and then dia gaduh dengan Decepticons, lepas tu dia Predacons, lepas tu dia jadi allies for Maximal.
Was he a Dinobot?
He was a dinosaur, yeah, he was a raptor. So that dude showed a lot of leadership qualities, tapi sebab dia Predacon dan dia jadi ally Maximal, being able to show off his leadership qualities while allying with the Maximals was the thing that gave Cheetor his character punya foil for him to come out. So then you kind of see that Cheetor ni macam dia mengharap juga nak jadi second command, tapi dia macam tak pernah dapat peluang. So dan that kind of this stupid raptor, aku nak kena menunjukkan aku punya ni. So then Cheetor came out and became a better character because of that. So because Rattrap, if you watch ni, he is very niche, and kalau tak ada Rattrap, I will say Beast Wars will be less funny. and maybe less relatable to the younger people watching it, because Rattrap was that glue. Rattrap was that kind of a character. Now, since for live action, kalau kau ada karakter macam Rattrap, he, for me, would run the risk of becoming another Bumblebee, where semua orang nak tengok Rattrap je, dan aku tak nak karakter macam tu. Because Bumblebee, for me, orang kawan-kawan aku yang tak minat Transformers or just barely know about Transformers dug into Bayformers, as in becoming Bayformers apologists. Whether or not they're movie fans aku tak kisah, but they become Bayformers apologists because tapi ada Bumblebee. So I feel that if you bring Rattrap and you do a great job, Rattrap is going to be the next Bumblebee, and it could be a more annoying Bumblebee at that lah. So aku pula macam tak kisah Rattrap, jadi aku bias lah kat sini. Because Rattrap as a character, dia bukan macam okay aku kecil, aku transform jadi tikus, but sebenarnya karakter aku ni yang menyebabkan Optimus Primal function. Karakter aku ni yang menjadi glue kepada the Maximals. Karakter aku ni yang memegang rahsia kepada cerita Beast Wars. He was not that kind of a character. So that was developed much later in Beast Wars, and then they say okay lah, kita kena bagi kau benda lagi besar sebab kau popular gila babi, semua orang suka kau. So as opposed to Jazz yang memang he's a very well-liked character in G1, but he never, I would even argue Mirage played more prominent roles, even though Jazz by command lagi penting daripada Mirage in G1. So aku macam okay lah, kalau aku tak dapat Rattrap aku tak rasa apa-apa pun. I just felt that it would have been nice if they fitted in Rattrap. Tapi bila aku tengok, kalau aku nak letak Rattrap, it would not look nice on the screen. You see a mega size cheetah slightly bigger than Mirage in the animal punya form. You see an air razor, a big size eagle. That makes a lot of sense. Lepas tu kau nak letak tikus tu kat mana? So they were stuck at the choice where kita kena masuk Rattrap kerana kita kena loyal kepada Beast Wars. Cool, tapi Rattrap tak boleh jadi tikus. Cool, Rattrap nak jadi binatang apa? Then the whole issue would have become, kalau kau tak boleh nak buat Rattrap betul-betul baik, kau tak payah buat. Okay, fuck it, tak payah buat. Let's not fucking run the risk of doing Rattrap, making it wrong, So I feel that might have been that lah. And if you masuk Rattrap, kau kena bagi Rattrap screen time. But we all know, macam saya cakap tadi, Jazz Mirage will be carrying the load of the story, because kita nak bawa towards the ending. So then kau nak letak Rattrap kat mana? So I think the writer room may have thought like this and felt that macam tak boleh lah, then we will not be able to do Rattrap justice. Kalau Cheeto tak transform, peduli lah berapa banyak Cheeto fans ada kat luar sana, orang tak komplain pun. Tapi kalau Rattrap salah sikit, confirm semua orang maki kan. Kalau aku daripada aku buat Rattrap, lebih baik aku buat Waspinator. Aku lagi suka Waspinator, tapi tak ada orang bising pasal Waspinator kan. So aku rasa macam tu lah. So aku macam at the end of the day, you know what, it's fine kalau tak ada Rattrap. It's not a problem. I think the fact that you don't get to see the Maximals transform except for Optimus Primal was sad. But I thought generally these two characters were fine. I completely agree with Shaz punya ni dengan punya opinion on Jazz, on Mirage. Personally, I feel if you recall G1, if you are objective about Mirage punya contributions in the G1 punya world, whatever you see Mirage doing in this film is consistent. Sebab dia adalah orang yang capable, dan dia punya character aside, dia sentiasa akan ada sumbangan. So every few episodes in G1, season 1 dengan season 2, boom, Mirage will buat something. Every few episodes, Mirage will buat something. Sama ada dia terpalit dengan kontroversi cliff jumper, kata dia belot ke, sama ada dia tolong selamatkan Prime ke, sama ada dia tiba-tiba guna dia punya camouflage punya skill set to fuck up with Decepticons punya plans ke. Mirage will always come up and do something important, and you don't see a lot of Jazz doing that. People like Jazz because it's Jazz, it's cool, blah 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 blah. So aku rasa in that sense, Mirage, macam saya cakap, you needed Mirage punya skill set to get this story through to the end, and I'm cool with that. Aku rasa okay. And the fact that they understand that, betul dia bagi homage. Why not? If you don't want to do it for friendship, you can do it for cash. You can sell me, but you can sell me as a sports car, dia jadi Lamborghini. Betul, semua macam okay, cool, we see that. Or lepas tu pun dia jadi F1 car, which is the actual Mirage. Okay, that's it. When I see that, macam I get it. It's a live action film. You cannot do 100%. So I'm cool with that. Tapi kalau kau purist, kau akan kecewa lah, because buat apa? Why not you put both Mirage and Jazz in the film? And I think that's a valid point. So yeah. So too bad lah sayang. But this character is pretty good. Aku rasa Mirage is solid. You cannot hate the character on the screen. You can only hate it if you ada nostalgia and attachment to Jiwa.
Shaz?
Kalau Jazz and Mirage was together on the screen, then you boleh tie kepada Bayformers. And then you be like thinking like, alah, it's just another character Autobot. Kenapa kita nak kisah? Oh, sebenarnya the prequels made him very important. So now in Bayformers 1 dia mati. So be like, wah, see, that's why Prime sedih, because he contributed a lot last time.
Betul.
But you know, what's done is done lah kan.
tapi susah agak sebab itulah aku I know man, I know, because I feel that kalau kau buat Mirage kau kena ada Sunstreak, and you have to also understand the fact that Transformers are toy based, the team was toy based. Prowl dengan Blue Streak sama kereta, color je lain. You know, so if you get Jazz and you get Mirage and kau ada Sunstreak, betul kau tak Jazz, macam actually kan bila kita nak tulis, kalau aku jadi director I might even say this, fuck lah, 3 orang ni sama sah. So aku nak buat macam mana? Takkan aku nak buat 3 karakter sama in the same film atau 2 karakter sama. I get that. So macam you live and you die with it lah. Kalau orang tak suka benda ni, orang kata shit, mana suka bagi kita Jazz je, I'm not gonna argue with that shit man. But you cannot say whatever they've done with Mirage is bad lah. Because kalau siapa tengok G1, dia akan cakap okay lah, Mirage punya usage of his cloaking ability, his illusions, blah blah blah, dude, G1 kartun kena tapau saya. Sebab this is it, you know, this is it. Application ada, homage ada, and the fucker when he didn't die, it made sense of how he stayed alive ada, which aku rasa kena mention sebab aku tak tengok ramai media mention. Orang kata alah ingat dia ni mati dia orang tak berani bunuh orang, fair, but how he stayed alive by becoming the exosuit for the human character was a fucking homage to Spike. And guess what, masa Spike pakai exosuit tu dalam the Transformers punya film, who the fuck was he with at that planet? Jazz. So aku faham lah, like aku rasa macam that's pretty cool man. You know what, you guys made it work. We might not like it, but we cannot say you did a bad job. So that exosuit was sweet. Aku rasa benda tu sweet gila babi. Cuma kau tak nampak dia transform je, but I don't care. You don't need to see people transforming into a car in the damn exosuit.
Tu lah kan, ganti patah belakang ke
dengan tangan je tu, tak boleh.
Tak boleh, patah.
Kita percaya. But we get the exosuit, so that was pretty cool.
Alright, so kita ada 3 komen menarik. Pertama, soalan daripada Caleb untuk semua panelis. Pada pendapat panelis, which is better, Transformers G1 ataupun Bayformers 1?
Alah, salah soalan ni. Okay, aku akan jawab siap-siap. Sila. G1 Jazz campur Mirage, aku rasa kalah kepada filem ni. But if you kira Jazz, Mirage, itu G1 menang lah. All day, every day bro. No need to ask that question. But when they combine it, they put it together, the film kau nampak lah. Like, I'm not, kalau kau benci Bumblebee, aku boleh faham kenapa. Sebab dalam Bayformers, why kau pilih kereta kuning ni jadi hero? Like, what? And then 2 films later baru kau explain dia punya heroism. But in this film alone, kau terus boleh nampak, okay, aku faham kenapa Mirage hero. So,
well, untuk aku personally, I think it's always the source material lah. It's always G1 menang any day of the week. And it's like, sorry, Bayformers, but G1 menang. Shaz, silakan Shaz.
This is actually a very difficult question sebab the characters are actually, because the movie version is a combination of 2 characters. So when you put it that way, honestly, I cannot decide which is better. Cuma what I will say is that the movie punya Mirage took the best of G1, Jazz and Mirage and put it into one character. So I think that was unique. But individually, I think I still imagine G1 is better lah, because then you have two characters who are doing two different things. So itu je.
Tak fair lah, because kalau kau nak you cannot Jazz in G1 tak buat banyak benda. Pergi tengok balik. Do not let sentimentality and nostalgia cloud you. You go sebab aku the first 4 season. So you pergi tengok first 2 seasons. Jazz did not do a lot of shit. Dude, Mirage was even involved in designing the Dinobots.
Yeah. Jazz dia macam middle management tau. He was always there when it mattered.
Yeah.
Tapi dia tak buat benda.
Tak buat benda. Tak ada accomplishment.
Busy.
People just like him because he's cool. Wheeljet lagi banyak buat benda. Masa Dinobots ngamuk, siapa yang selamatkan dia orang? Mirage juga. Serious, I am not kidding you. Do not let nostalgia cloud you.
Betul tu lah. Alright, so soalan kedua adalah daripada Soy Champion yang bertanya, dekat Transformers ni sebenarnya ada berapa faction? Siapa yang baik dan jahat sebenarnya? Basically you got Autobots, Decepticons, Predacons, and then kau ada Maximals, and then kau ada Terracons. So ni sebelah jahat, yang ni sebelah baik. Did I miss out on anything else?
Kau kena tengok, kalau kau kata faction ni, kau kena tengok kau ikut kartun timeline mana. Betul. Because kalau kau ikut G1, timeline dia faction dia 3 je. Autobots, Decepticon dengan the orang-orang Cybertron seperti Quintessons, orang-orang yang cipta robot, orang-orang yang jaga. So faction dia generally 3 ni je pun. And then bila kau pergi ke timeline lain, which is say Transformers Armada ke, pergi Energon ke, kau pergi Robots in Disguise ke, kau pergi Earthspark ke, generally kau akan ada 3 ni juga. Kau akan ada satu pihak di mana mereka lah orang-orang daripada Cybertron, so kita tak tahu dia ni baik ke jahat, tapi generally dia orang macam politicians, dan sentiasa Autobot dengan Decepticon ni terpalit. Orang ni nak decide macam ni, Decepticon suka Autobot lawan, Autobot rebel. Orang kat atas nak buat macam ni, Autobot setuju, Decepticon rebel. Semua cerita Transformers macam tu. So kalau kira faction, generally baik jahat je. Dia tak ada banyak celah-celah. Yang ni
aku nak jawab soalan nasi goreng ni.
Silakan.
Dekat in G1 you ada 3 season and then 1 season untuk at the end of season 3, 4 macam tu lah. Then bila dia move kepada Jepun, dia ada Headmasters punya series, Power Masters punya series, Zone Victory, and then last kali Zone, which is like 1 episode saja, lepas tu terus kena cancel sebab reception tak bagus. So officially G1, kalau you assume sampai ke Jepun ada 7. Then after that dia mulalah Transformers G2, dia reboot dengan cyber punya imagery 3D which is very horrible. Please don't look for that version. It was all just a reskin. But itulah, kalau balik kepada soalan tadi, dia punya faction depending on the series. But kalau kita tengok only dekat filem Rise of the Beast ni kan, you have the Autobots. The Maximals are descendants kepada Autobots. You have the missing Decepticons, and then you have the missing Predacons, which is the counterpart of the Maximals, and then you have Unicron, which is his own faction. Dia nak makan je. And then of course Scourge and budak-budak ni, which is pengikut Unicron lah. So 5, I guess 5 factions.
I wouldn't say factions lah. Yang macam soalan Jepun tadi tu, basically Transformers ni tak payah nak susah-susah, kau pergi je Transformers Wiki. Lepas tu kau tengok by years. So daripada 84 sampai tahun berapa, that's G1. So bila G1 tu, because Transformers ni adalah zaman Hasbro buat kartun, nak jual mainan So dia buat mainan dulu, lepas tu macam fuck, macam ni kita nak jual mainan ni, kita buat kartun. That is how you got Transformers. That's it. Okay? Kita buat askar G.I. Joe, kita buat mainan. Macam ni nak jual, kita buat kartun. That was how G.I. Joe came to be. That's it. Okay? Hasbro in the 80s adalah prolific gila, buat mainan yang best, nak menjual value Americana. Lepas tu semua kartun dia best. Semua kartun dia best. So kalau orang 80-an, 90-an kata kartun 80-90-an best, korang jangan argue sebab memang best. Because you see the toys first. Kadang-kadang bila kau tengok iklan mainan tu, sambil kau tengok cerita pukul 8.30 malam, 9 malam kat TV, lepas tu kau tengok ada kartun, kartun ni adalah kartun kepada iklan mainan yang aku tengok, and then kartun tu best, mainan tu best. That's it man, mind blown. Kau rasa macam there is nothing else in the world. Aku pergi sekolah, aku balik sekolah, aku nak tengok kartun tu, aku nak main mainan tu. That is fucking awesome. Okay, so that is Transformers. Kau tak boleh cakap apa. So bila dia dah habis modal cerita, dia kena okay, kita dah habis cerita G1, so kita nak buat apa pula? Tunggulah mainan apa guna buat lepas tu. Jepun punya time is because bila dia nak jual toys tu kat Jepun, orang yang pegang lesen toy tu dekat Jepun kata, okay lah, ini toy korang kat US, kat Jepun kita pun boleh manufacture toys juga. Apa kata kita buat toy Transformers version Jepun? Okay, go, ambil rights. Jadi bila Jepun buat toys tu, dia buat kartun tu, toys tu. So, it is such an easy time. Kau ada toy, ada buat kartun sekian. So that was how it lah. Sebab tu
yang
dapat
menarik
Headmasters juga tu. And then bila Marvel Comics beli Transformers, baru dia kata, Jepun buat Headmasters tu macam cool lah, kita buat komik lah. Buat komik Headmasters. Tapi bila komik tu dah jalan, okay, kita buat toy Headmasters pula. So it's like that. Dia sangat pusing-pusing. So every season ni ada lah faction dia. Tapi generally memang kau akan dapat pihak-pihak Cybertron, kau dapat Autobots, kau dapat Decepticons. Geng baik kena ada, geng jahat kena ada.
Shaz?
Ada one interesting fact. One of the characters that was made, I tak ingat nama what prime. He was one of the primes where he explained that all the Transformers timelines are canon and he can move between the Transformers multiverse. So that was mind blowing when I first read that point. Tapi I tak ingat nama dia. Tapi kalau yang berminat bolehlah baca dekat dekat wiki tu, they will tell you lah that he's actually one of the Transformers yang orang suka, because he gets to see all the Transformers timelines, all the dimensions.
Nama dia adalah Kang Major Prime. Nama dia adalah Kang Major Prime.
Baca sial.
Semua multiverse dia ada.
Semua multiverse dia dah pergi. Ya,
semua dia ada. Tapi one thing yang aku sedar lepas tengok banyak Transformers dan follow Transformers Prime sangat like on a fucking weekly basis for that 3 years, Unicron lagi best daripada Cybertron. Tak ada Unicron, tak ada Transformers. You got nothing to, no story to tell. Tak ada Unicron, tak ada Transformers. Every damn Transformers cartoon, who's our big bad lah? Unicron. Tak ada orang lain dah.
Mesti ya, World Eater kot. World Eater. Paling ganas kan. Alright, soalan terakhir untuk segmen ini adalah daripada Syaifullah yang bertanya, Ultra Magnus mana? Aku rasa dia masih terlekat kat Cybertron. Dia tak boleh buka the Matrix.
Dia tak boleh buka Matrix.
So ni guys, so dia tak dapat turun ke bumi. Damn it, Prime, damn it.
He at one point was my favourite Autobot, tapi dia adalah tactician dan strategis paling hebat dalam generasi dia. Tapi dia seperti Abdullah Badawi. Tak apa lah, kau jadi PM. Aku tak jadi PM.
Yes.
Itu masalah.
Aku number 2.
Yeah.
You want to go to war? Let me be your strategist. Aku jadi general kau. Let me set how you want to fight this. Sebab tu Autobots boleh tahan lama. Because you get Ultra Magnus as the second in command to Prime. And Prime was able to become Prime because Ultra Magnus covers that shit. So dia boleh jadi leader. Kita kena boleh buat speech. Yeah, serious. I am not kidding you. Ultra Magnus is the best strategist and tactician in Autobot.
Alright. So dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke sebab hampir kita yang kelima. So daripada heroes sekarang kita ke arah villains pula, iaitu kehilangan Decepticons dan juga Predacons. Jadi soalan pertama adalah untuk Shaz ya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang cold opening asal yang telah divisikan oleh pengarah Stephen Campbell Jr. di mana Optimus Prime dan Autobots telah spend the last 7 years hunting down Decepticons on Earth. Tapi visi ini telah diveto oleh penerbit sebagai too dark. So kita dihidangkan dengan cold opening Maximals Pre-Earth instead. Sedih sial. So silakan.
Aku rasa they should have made a film about that 7 years and not Rise of the Beast. because that would have been an easier film to make. It would have directly continued right after Bumblebee. You could have shown, it's like, okay, we have found traces of 35 Decepticons throughout the United States. So kau journey throughout entire America. You have, you boleh tunjuk 80s Americana, then you boleh tunjuk timeline 1987 you took out 2-3, 1988 you travel ke tak tahu Missouri ke, you go to Washington ke, along the way you meet more Autobots here and there. That would have been a better film and so much easier to write than the convoluted nonsense that we got dalam Rise of the Beast ni. Rise of the Beast should have been Bumblebee 4, 3 or 4. That 7-year period punya war should have been its own film or 2. That's how much wasted potential I see. The fact that you don't even give it the cold opening pun macam like, that means the suits tak faham lah what the fans wanted. You want to see robots in disguise. You want to see them how they outwit each other. How do they build up their resources just like in G1. You didn't give us that, then you got us this film. Hey guys, the villain that you all wanted tak wujud like why? It's totally wasted lah. I thought your Optimus Prime dengan Unicron was wasted. Then when you mention pasal benda ni macam like, ada ke? There was a cold opening for 7 years ke? Like, lagilah, that's even worse lah. Itulah, it's just totally wasted potential. So now we got 2 things we want to see. The 1.5 hours that ends with the 5 minutes of Bumblebee punya first CGI benda tu, itu dah satu filem. And now this 7-year period di mana Optimus Prime and his crew berlawan dengan Decepticon, which can actually justify kenapa tinggal 4-5 orang je. Kenapa the Autobots went into hiding? Because the Decepticons were so good in fighting. That's why they suffered so many losses, so they hide. But then again comes the next question lah. If that was the case, so movie ni mana Decepticons? Itu yang rating 4/10 ni Nick. Tak boleh terima, pening.
Aku nak tengok Megatron jadi pistol kecil tu je. Aku nak tengok robot besar tu jadi pistol kecil. That's it, man.
Tak Nick. Sebab tu Optimus Prime cari Decepticon 7 tahun tak jumpa-jumpa.
Pasal semua jadi kecil lah. Jadi pistol.
Jadi pistol. They were looking at the wrong places.
Yes, they were looking at
Sebenarnya
places.
Sebenarnya Megatron adalah pistol yang telah digunakan pakai oleh salah seorang ahli tim John Cena. I know, man. I'm just fucking around.
Alright, jadi soalan seterusnya adalah dah lah kita tak dapat Decepticon, kita tak dapat Megatron Decepticon, dan kita tak dapat Megatron Predacon juga yang mesti T-Rex tu. So, apakah pendapat anda tentang filem ini berjudul Rise of the Beast yang berdasarkan siri kartun Transformers Beast Wars, namun kelibat seteru Maximals daripada siri itu iaitu The Predacons tidak kelihatan langsung. I think this is the biggest scene lah. So, apa pendapat kau?
Tajuk filem ni sepatutnya diubah kepada Transformers ada Beast. Itu je. Or ada Maximals.
That's it.
Yeah. Alright? Because there is no fucking rise by any of the beasts, be it Predacons or Maximals. Okay, fine. Kau belanja Maximals, cool. Kau belanja Eraser terbang, tembak api. Kau belanja Cheetor lari towards the end, lompat, lepas tu transform. Tapi shot jauh, bukan shot dekat. Sebab Cheetor is the best looking design lepas dia transform jadi robot mode pada aku. So you lose out on that. Lepas tu kau belanja kita dua beruk. Kau belanja Abang Maximal, Abang Primal, Optimus Primal dan Optimus Primal. Satu cukup, kita tak perlu dua beruk. Satu beruk cukup. So beruk lagi satu tu boleh bagi ke orang lain. Tapi tak. So tak ada rise-nya. In fact, the fall of the beasts lagi betul lah sebab planet dia kena serang dengan the skirt sebab Unicron nak datang, Ketam nak datang. So aku rasa macam, why are you calling it Beast Wars? Why are you even making that reference? You know, if it was, for example, the story was about Mirage and Prime and RC and B gaduh nak pergi, diorang terjumpa, diorang nak cari Decepticon, tengah diorang nak cari pistol Megatron tu, diorang jumpa the Transwarp Key instead. Lepas diorang macam, kita jumpa Transwarp Key, kita nak buat macam ni, kita nak buat macam ni. Lepas tu, dalam diorang tengah nak pakai tu, Scourge tengah datang nak silang, tiba-tiba Maximals datang menyelamatkan. Barulah Rise of the Beasts. Barulah make sense kau bagi title tu. Lepas tu macam, wow, siapa ni? Lepas tu Prime macam, you are Prime, I am Prime. Lepas tu dia buat macam Spider-Man. Tak. So then it makes sense for you to give that title. Ini kau jual Primal Maximals dulu. Lepas tu, then you jump to the town, to the city, and you give us Autobots for the longest time until the Autobots realizes yang ada Primal ada Maximals. Maximals ni macam mana? So jam. Like, how are you making an homage to Beast Wars when you are writing the Maximals as like a future generation of the Autobots that the Autobots were not even aware of? It doesn't make fucking sense. Kalau Optimus Prime is not a Prime, I get it, but he is a Prime. Takkan a Prime tak tahu yang ada, Cybertron memang ada plan untuk spread the Transformers punya gene ni, kita buat explorations. So ada setengah planet ni kita tukar, kita olah dia. So some planets ada gene spark, ada all spark, and Maximals is one of those planets, you know. So then it's fine. Then you can see the rise, because now the Autobots are not fighting the bad guys alone. They are fighting with the Maximals. Wow, Rise of the Beast. Cool lah. But that is not even the case. If you do the standard 90s punya trope, which is Rise of the Beast, bukan Maximals, yang Beast tu sebenarnya Unicron nak datang, dia kena hidupkan this huge Predacon that was buried on Earth. And this huge Predacon was actually Scorponok or was actually Tripticon, which is a beast and a dinosaur. Then macam fuck, Autobots kena bunuh Tripticon ni, kena bunuh dinosaur bapak ni. Dinobots ada, so how do we kill it? With the help of the Maximals. Then it makes fucking sense to call it Rise of the Beasts. Even though that is very 90s. Ada beast besar, kita kena bunuh. Dan Rise tu bukan sebenarnya Maximals. Rise tu memang dia nak hidupkan Tripticon tu balik. Tu je. But that is not even the case. So now, you have a story that promise Rise of the Beast. Kau bagi kita trailer Maximals, kita semua dah macam ada expectation. Okay, Beast Wars fans, stand up. Lepas tu macam, cerita ni half or more than half of it still Prime yang carry. Still the humans yang carry. Still Mirage yang carry, you know. It's not even fucking Eraser yang carry. It's not even Cheetor yang carry. You know, Rhinox did not even transform and lempang any robot. Rhinox kuat babi. No. But you got that subtitle, Rise of the Beast. So aku rasa benda ni macam so I'm going to praise what I like about the film, but sayang lah benda ni. And Predacons punya design good. And I get kalau macam Black Arachnia is a fucking cool design. We did not get to see Black Arachnia. You know, you don't get to see the likes of Tarantulas you don't get to see the likes of Dinobot, that was the name. So you missed out on this shit, man. Like if Bay was doing this, I bet you dia punya cold opening adalah pada 5,000 tahun dahulu atau 5 juta tahun dahulu, di mana dinosaur ada, boom, ada Predacons dinosaur, guys, to confirm. Aku dah boleh agak dia nak buat. But you see that we'll go like, okay lah, dia buat checklist, Predacon, Megatron satu, Dinobot satu, dia buat checklist macam tu. And he'll fuck up one character that everybody likes, because that's what he does. We don't even get that. So for me, this is the biggest complaint I have about the film. Yang lain semua aku boleh telan, aku rasa macam I will give the writer and the whatever their merits. Tapi ini aku macam call it Unicron. Don't call it Rise of the Beast. Just call it Unicron. Macam tak ada pun.
Yeah man, Unicron ataupun Unicloud. Kita datang kejap je.
Okay, ini aku tak berhati. Fuck, kau boleh tapau abang Optimus Primal. Mamat tu lompat. Dia nak lompat, dia nak bagi offer sepam kau cucuk. Scourge kuat gila. Lepas tu dia dah belasah Optimus Prime. Mamat tu pakai exosuit, tembak 3 kali. Kau sakit.
Betul tu.
Aku rasa the final fight tu, that was the biggest scene that Maximal and Optimus did not fight together. That was a big sin lah for me. You wasted the chance for them to have the dream match between these two against Scourge, which you can justify. Kenapa Scourge sekarang ni kuat? Powered by Unicron. Okay lah, boleh terima. So again, then yang human tu faham ni pun. Patutnya the human tu tembak. We need 2 second, lepas tu kena sepak ke tepi, melayang. Puk macam siapa Loki bila jumpa dengan orang bom. Oh sakitnya. Aku tak ada lawan dah.
Saya watak sampingan. Saya baru isam. Saya watak sampingan.
This is the thing.
There would have been a metaphorical and actual showing kau set character kau tepi and then Maxima join the fight. So 2 primes fighting Scourge, barulah power Scourge ni. But then you don't have the rise of the beast lah.
You know what's even worse? Nampak sangat dia punya sayang ke Optimus Prime dah lah tu. Ya, dia adalah geng baik, ketua geng baik yang paling cool daripada 80-an. Dah 40 tahun kita pakai Pokemon ni, okay? Dan still kita nak pakai dia lagi. No issues with that. Dia lah nak kena destroy the bridge. Dia lah nak kena bunuh the Scourge. Dia lah nak kena lead the expedition nak pergi cari the second part of the transport key. Dia lah juga yang jumpa benda tu. Lepas tu dia lah juga, semualah nak kena bagi kat Prime. Tapi ni Rise of the Beast. So kau punya cold opening where Optimus Primal, you now lead the Maximals Optimus Primal Boom, which is pretty cool. I like it. Dan last okay, kau lawan Scourge aku counting kat bawah. Tapi jangan lupa bridge tu kau kena letupkan juga tau. Lepas tu Prime kata okay. Faham tak? Like, how much do you wanna, show that you love Prime? You don't need to fucking do that. Especially bila director tu kata, okay, now we get to understand why Prime is like that if you continue watching it into the first Bayformer film. Dude, this is not even about Prime. So, he can take a back seat. So, kenapa kau nak kena bagi dia settle semua benda?
Pasal dia dah ada 6 filem.
He dah just taken
5 filem lah.
5 apa? Dah jadi 6 lah masuk yang ni. Dalam Bumblebee pun nak kena selit, dia kena turun juga. Apa? Sebab apa? Bumblebee tak boleh buat kerja kalau Prime tak bagi sign off. So macam semua nak kena Prime there, bro. Dia tak penat ke? Prime penat bro. So aku macam Shazli pun like, you could have gotten, you set up the cold opening that gave Optimus Primal the reason to do what he does, with Airazor punya quote saying his sacrifice is our oath. He takes that oath, and when Prime is fighting Scourge, he is down there fighting the other stuff. Where the stakes are there. It's not that dia tak ada stakes tau. The stakes are there. Get Optimus Primal to do it. So masa tu katakanlah macam Scourge tengah nak bunuh Prime, cabut Optimus punya kapak, lepas tu dia nak cucuk, lepas tu Optimus Primal datang. Dia kata, Prime, kau pergi settle lah bridge tu. Now it's my fight. Now it's my turn. Kau dah settle lah. Then okay at least, so we don't even get that, which is pretty dumb lah pada aku. Dan aku tak pergi Predacon, which is okay, fine, whatever, sebab kita dah ada Unicron. Tapi Unicron pun tak sempat nak transform. Dia macam Galactus Fantastic Four, but 5 times better. Okay, aku sempat keluar, aku sempat tunjuk muka, tapi aku bilang.
Kita bincangkan dalam segmen kita yang seterusnya.
Aku macam, aduh.
Alright, so sebelum itu, kita akan ke sebab hampir kita yang keempat. Alright, so sebab hampir kita yang keempat adalah The MACGUFFIN yang sekarang dah nak masuk 7 filem. I think out of 7 filem tu 6 kali dah diorang guna MACGUFFIN. Transform Key lah, All Spark lah, Betul lah. So soalan pertama Datuk Shaz, apakah pendapat anda tentang The Human Allies? Asyik diberi job di dalam filem ini. Masuk museum lah, masuk gereja lah, masuk terowong lah, atas alasan Transformers terlalu besar untuk enter those places. #lazy writing. So silakan.
Ada 2 point kita nak sembang sini. First kali MACGUFFIN ni was written in a better way by the Fast and Furious punya franchise. Dia acknowledge benda tu MACGUFFIN, tapi dia punya MACGUFFIN dia introduce earlier and then later dia ada payoff. So dalam case ni macam like we need something for the show. What do we get for the show? Something new from nowhere. You tak ada macam like foreshadow in the previous episode ke, or in the beginning of the storyline ke. You tak ada macam there's no payoff tau. You terus dah, this is something, a MacGuffin, you have to use it. Terus itu satu, dia punya introduction of the MacGuffin was too sudden, too abrupt, and then now everybody is chasing it. Kedua, the fact that benda tu kecil, should not really focus on the humans being your support. You are entrusting something which can end the universe in dia punya perspektif, sebab unicorn boleh makan semua benda, to a weaker creature than you just because dia kecil. So you could have just put it on yourself and then bury yourself underground, korek je lah tanah tu. I mean, you have all the time in the world kot, berjuta-juta tahun kot, maybe not berjuta lah, but beribu-ribu tahun. You could have hidden yourself there and then just bury it forever, like seal, masuklah dalam satu gaung besar ke apa ke, completely seal off everything and you're done. You just live out the rest of your life. Why do you need to trust these people that you tak kenal, and then you bagi this is something they can something very important, they probably will not explain what it is, tolong jaga for us. Dah lah kau tak kenal dia orang, even if they ended up being trusted by you, they will die the moment any of Scourge punya guys come down. Abang kau kena tenyeh at the start of the cold opening. You want to trust these organic guys who have not shown any special powers macam magic ke, teknologi yang power ke, nothing. These were just humble people who live in an unassuming world. If that is what it takes to really hide Net MacGuffin, campaklah ke Jupiter ke apa ke, where the gravity is like so strong, or just completely break it apart and be done with it. Why have the risk of Unicron punya agents finding that component and then using it to bring it out into the current time? It's very bad writing. Dah lah, the fact that you always bring the same concept. We need humans akan tolong kita, they become a major plot point, and then after that the Autobots end up saving the day anyway. So macam like it's very, you're right lah, it's very lazy writing. There's a lot more ways you could have done it, and this is the point yang kita sembang hari tu. Right after that, this is where Rattrap could have been a major plot point. That means you tunjuk je Rattrap was at the part of the cold opening, and then bila dah sampai ke bumi tu, okay guys, tolong kita ambil benda tu. So they press the buttons and everything. Where's the MacGuffin? Where is it? It's like tak ada. So when they report ke Maximum, it's not there. What do you mean it's not there? There's no way that anyone could open it, because it's too big for where's Rattrap? That one line would have made so much impact because of the significance of Rattrap in Rise of the Beast. In Beast Wars. Tapi itulah, because Jamal put it kan, they might end up making a bad representation of Rattrap. So they probably decided let's not take that risk and just put characters yang kita faham.
I guess bila aku cakap macam tu, I think it's more of it's more of me being apa nama ni, being forgiving. Sebab the biggest issue here is that you are still repeating a trope that was used in almost all five of the Bayformers film, which interestingly, you watch any Transformers animated series since G1, tak pernah pakai. They never needed a MacGuffin. Megatron in G1, literally kita pergi kacau that oil city, oil town, kita pergi redah that oil rig, kita collect energy ni, lepas tu kita bertukang nak buat a space station, kita bertukang nak buat a fucking portal. Decepticons tak perlu MacGuffin. Kita ni dah kita dah jauh sangat daripada Cybertron ni, macam ni kita nak shortcut? Tak ada. We build a fucking portal, we build a fucking space station, we use all the resources on Earth, and then we go back to Cybertron. So Transformers Prime tak pernah ada MacGuffin. Okay, the whole Michael Bay in Last Night guna Unicron is part of Earth, that was Transformers Prime. Okay, that's it. Japanese tak apa, Japanese dia terus jadikan benda ni apa nama mecha punya ni. None. Kau tengok Robots in Disguise, there were no MacGuffins. Robot in Disguise, it's not even about that. Earthspark is not even a MacGuffin. Jadi tak perlu ada MacGuffin. Why do you need a MacGuffin so bad? And if you need a MacGuffin, why are you doing it this way? Like, because that kerana ada MacGuffin tu lah aku jadi apologist. Okay lah, tak ada Rattrap pun tak apa. Personally aku pun bias, aku biasa-biasa je dengan Rattrap. Aku lagi suka Waspinator. But the fact remains lah, aku hanya cakap macam tu sebab dia buat filem ni macam ni. Kalau dia buat filem macam yang kau suggest tadi, Shaz, then yeah, Rattrap will be fucking brilliantly used, because you start the film by saying where's Rattrap. Lepas tu semua orang kata, fuck, cerita ni tak ada Rattrap ke? Babi lah, aku nak tengok Rattrap, sial. Lepas tu 2/3 in baru, oh patutlah Rattrap tak ada. Then macam, wah pandainya korang main dengan perasaan dan nostalgia dan sebagainya, dan set up MacGuffin sebab bla 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 bla. But that was not even the case. So like, for what it is, the film is serviceable, but that's it lah. Sayang lah.
Cukup syarat kan?
That brings us to the second question untuk segmen ni, untuk Jamal. Apakah pendapat anda tentang konsep national treasure yang telah wujud di dalam 6 out of the 7 filem Transformers, iaitu mencari a MacGuffin to stop a great evil. I mean, there's so many more other genres ataupun tropes yang boleh diterokai menggunakan Transformers. So, apa pendapat kau sebagai seorang penulis?
Dah lah tu, tak payah. Dia macam ni je, kau nak buat adventure tu sebab MacGuffin ni kena dalam hutan. Kenapa kena dalam hutan dan bukan kat desert macam Bayformers? Sebab kalau bukan kat dalam hutan, then Maximals nak lepak mana? Aku rasa kat situ je lah kot. Tapi this is of course being reductive and cynical AF lah. So I got no answer to that, man. I got no answer to that. One, you don't need the MacGuffin. Two, even if you need one, the MacGuffin is not in this shape. Yang macam aku sampai sekarang aku bengang dengan siapa ni, Shia LaBeouf pegang Matrix, dan Matrix tu terus duduk dekat the fucking desert.
Betul.
Tak apa lagi. Itu tak apa. Kalau bila Shia LaBeouf jumpa Matrix tu besar pencawang elektrik TNB, aku bagi muka lagi. Matrix tu besar tangan dia. Lepas tu alasan dia adalah, oh tak, dia boleh morph. Kepala butuh kau. Agak-agak kau masa watch whichever Transformers tengah nak sorok Matrix tu kat dalam this ancient Egyptian tomb, okay, kita kena sorok dalam size manusia. Jadi bila kod-kod lah Megatron datang, dia tengok ini macam Matrix, tapi Matrix ni kecil sangat lah, so ni mesti bukan Matrix kita kan. Maybe is that the reason why? Because Megatron is a fucking Transformers. Benda ni pun boleh morph jadi kecil. You know, I don't get it. So Bay dah menunjukkan dia punya kepandaian dengan benda tu, so janganlah, why are you going down that fucking same route? So I don't get it. You don't need that. Dan this adventure trope tak adventure sangat pun. So aku rasa you are trying to do too many things at once. I get it would be, if you do it nicely, it's a nice homage and all that. You don't need to. Why would Optimus Primal bagi a tribe, an old tribe in Peru, to become guardians of that? Generally, it's fine. Okay? Tapi bila from the way he was telling it, okay, aku sorok, aku patahkan benda tu, korang jaga hal. Of all the fucking tribes to give it to, a tribe in Peru that cannot defend themselves against the likes of Scourge, tribe tu lah yang kau bagi. Kalau aku Scourge, aku sampai tu macam, seriously, kau bagi kat dia orang? Kau tak nak bagi kat US, kau tak nak bagi dekat Iran, kau tak nak bagi dekat China, kau bagi kat dia orang. Okay, cool. You know, I don't get it. So semata-mata nak macam ada this whole exploration ke adventure. I just feel that it doesn't work. The MacGuffin in and of itself doesn't work. Sometimes I feel that the writers are very self-aware. Sebab siapa nama lead character? Lupa nama dia.
Noah Davis. Noah Diaz.
Dia cakap, so you are telling me that there's this beam going up to the sky that I cannot see because it's a different frequency? Well, when you put it like that, that is an inside joke that I appreciate. But I do not now I don't know if it's the writers kata, bye, kita writer benda ni tak masuk akal, tapi you know what, let's just put a line benda ni focus group mesti tak perasan lawak bodoh. Tapi lawak ni sebenarnya meta gila babi sebab kita pun tak puas hati. Sikit-sikit kena macam ni, sikit-sikit macam ni. True enough lah. Noah Diaz tanya soalan benda tu kat Miraj kata, well, when you put it that way, Miraj doesn't even fucking answer the question. Sebab Miraj pun tak faham. Kenapa lah? Sekurang je tak boleh nampak. So I don't get it. I got no other arguments for this. I just nak kutuk benda ni. I think there are many ways to do it better. G1s and Transformers Prime, if you've watched them, have done this well. Even Robots in Disguise post Prime have done it decently well. They have reasons to bring people to Earth, be it by making Unicron embedding itself within Earth, within a star system that eventually grow to become the Milky Way, and in Unicron being jadi Earth, it's fine. And then because of that, Earth ada special energon properties. Dia dah kata dah, Earth ada energon properties. You don't need the MACGUFFIN. You just have to say Scourge buat bersidang dengan geng-geng dia 3 orang tu. Kalau dia orang nak menyorok, dia orang nak menyorok kat mana? Aku tak tahu lah bos, tapi aku rasa wherever they go, we are Transformers. Kalau tempat tu tak ada energon, kita tak boleh lepak situ. Betul, jom kita buat satu senarai. Mana negara, apa planet-planet dan star system yang ada energon. It is as simple as that. Lepas tu dia boleh lah letak, tapi energon kat bumi ni lain sikit. Kenapa Sebab Unicron ada dalam situ, which you will see in Bayformers last night. Motherfuckers, tada, it is not reboot. You can even do it that way, but you don't. So aku rasa dia, I know man, I wouldn't do it this way. Like for me, aku like some of the stupidest things in G1 is also the best. Decepticons buat, dia pergi serang oil rig, nak ambil minyak, lepas tu nak ambil some military technology yang ada ability to tukar this minyak into energon. Sebab dia kena buat energon banyak-banyak, sebab dia nak buat kapal space, sebab dia nak pergi balik Cybertron. That is how simple and straightforward it was. Yeah, it might not be complex and cool, but dude, you can start that.
Yeah, man.
You know, you can start that. Maximals are trying to do something. They are trying to do something to go and find Scourge, or they are trying to build something to cloak the energon signatures of Earth, so Unicron will never detect it.
Yeah. Or like you know, the simplest thing is like you have a Elon Musk type yang tak nak guna oil lah. Lepas tu kau guna electricity and then energon.
Yeah, actually that's really good idea. You create an Elon Musk punya character, which is a parody of all Elon Musks of the world. Yeah, then this character becomes the caricature of a typical Michael Bay punya character, macam Stanley Tucci kat dalam Transformers 4, right? Tapi you take it seriously in this film. Because pukimak-pukimak macam ni lah yang akan menyebabkan Unicrons of the world nak datang kat bumi sebab dia tak reti nak buat bila dia discover benda baru. Then it's fine. Boleh. Then we know that there is some connective tissue because you're paying homage to Bayformers in a light jet. Tapi tak. They had to do the straightforward MACGUFFIN with some random intern terpecahkan the patung.
The statue. Tiba-tiba kunci. Like, oh my god, nice timing. Everybody's coming here now. Aku macam, alah, terlalu suddenly. Barely an inconvenience.
Sangat. Because like macam mana, aku tak tahu kan, like kau dah spend so long to sorok benda tu, and the first reaction was, fuck, Pukimak mana pergi jumpa benda ni, sial lah, kita dah 8,000 tahun sorok kot benda ni. Optimus Prime cari benda ni, tak jumpa benda ni 7 tahun sepanjang dia ada kat sini. And then some fucker just had to open the damn box. Now Unicron datang. Ni orang-orang yang tak baca note dekat luar pintu ni. So that did not even happen. So I find it odd. They are smart but they are stupid at the same time. Another thing yang aku personally tak suka is that Optimus Prime kata, we've been here for 7 years. Dude, you are an alien species, an alien robot species. You don't go by years. We've been here for 17 cycles, or we've been here for 2 cycles, So
something yang lagi funny tu kan, aku baru teringat pasal this national treasure bullshit kan. In the end, Scourge punya minions sampai juga masuk terowong tu. They were small enough to infiltrate. So macam like, what is the whole point? Kau tak terfikir ke there were robots that was that small that can fit inside those caves anyway?
Tak, benda ni sama dalam Bayformers lah. Okay, kita kena certain things the humans do better. And then what happened kat dalam military base tu, ada robot yang senipis apa benda tu yang masuk kat dalam
Robot cukup syarat.
Aduh. So yeah. Dia sepatutnya partnership dengan McDonald. Banyak sangat MACGUFFIN.
Banyak sangat MACGUFFIN.
Live action ni.
MACGUFFIN value meal.
Ya, MACGUFFIN
Alright.
value ni.
So kita ada 3 komen. Pertama daripada Yo Mega yang bertanya, wait, what was the inside joke about the line? I guess the writers rasa bodoh masa menulis line tu. So dia literally buat Noah tanya Miraj, kenapa light tu bodoh macam ni? So they are making
Ayat Noah was, so you're telling me there's a beam shooting up to the sky, lebih kurang macam tu lah. But I cannot see it because I'm a human. Lepas tu Miraj jawab, well, when you put it that way, it does sound weird.
And you expect me to believe you. You know, it's like something that you can say I cannot see, now you expect me to believe you. Oh, bagus.
But for me,
Like whatever.
but genuinely, for me, up to that point, up to that very scene, I was liking the film a lot. Because nampak yang it was not taking itself seriously. Nampak, even though it was so evident, they're not even trying to hide that Miraj is a bit of jazz, the car was different. But they did the homages all the way, and then Miraj, I think I will fight this. Out of all the live action Transformers films, Miraj is the most likable character. Kau tengok dia 2 minit kau dah suka dia. Or at least kau tak benci dia. There is not a lot of things to it. He is not obnoxious at all. Dia tak menyemak every other scene. He doesn't have to say everything. He doesn't have to be in every scene doing everything. Dan dia tak perlu jadi hero pun. In fact, dia hancur kot. And he's cool about that, you know. And even in that, dalam Bumblebee yang dah take a back seat, still dia mati, dia kena hidup balik juga lagi. Ya Allah, dia still kena macam ada scene Optimus Prime tengok dia, kena ada juga scene tu. Miraj tak ada pun, Miraj dia aja. Aku dah hancur tapi tak apa, sebenarnya aku tak mati sebab aku punya form memang malleable, aku boleh camouflage. So now, as long as my spark is still alive, now aku jadi exosuit untuk kau until I recover if you give me a bigger body. That's pretty cool. So, you know what? They got Miraj. I would say they got Miraj right, but they did it well. They did it well with whatever they decided to do lah. Kan?
Alright, soalan seterusnya daripada Yo Mega bertanya, I don't understand how they need to call Unicron in this movie.
Okay. Sila tengok permulaan bedah ni dan sekian saja. Sekian terima kasih.
Yeah,
Nanti
basically
kita
they fuck with logic, they don't care. This timeline doesn't matter. That's what the producer said. Macam tu lah. Tapi you can catch the conversation at the beginning of this chat. Alright. Yeah.
Aku rasa mungkin Unicron yang skirt surf ni dia bukan Unicron. Tapi dia BBNU, dia nak jadi macam Unicron. Dia mungkin planet, dia mungkin adik ketiga. Kan for the longest time it was Cybertron. Cybertron is what? Primus bukan? What was the name?
Primus.
Primus and Unicron kan were brothers kan. So sebenarnya ada adik ketiga ni dia ikut abang dia nak jadi
Saya pun Unicron.
Tapi kita tak pernah tahu. Lepas tu abang dia macam
Baby Unicron.
dia jadi Earth. Lepas tu adik ni dia kata, oh abang dah lama tak ada, okay aku nak jadi Unicron. Sebab you know, in homage to the brother. Maybe lah, I don't know.
Maybe.
So, adik dia tak sedar sebenarnya Earth tu adalah abang dia nak makan abang dia sendiri. Mana lah tahu kan. Aku tak tahu Unicron, I don't know.
Mana tahu ada extra backstory macam tu lah.
And in fact, if it was me, I would stay away from the Unicron is a damn planet thing. For me, Transformers Prime did it the best, and even then, it was not even great. So just stay away from it. Just stay away from it.
Okay, soalan terakhir untuk segmen ni daripada Nasi Goreng yang bertanya, Nemesis Prime tu apa origin dia? Saya nampak patah ni dekat Transformers Netflix.
War of Cybertron
War of Cybertron.
It's a different story.
Prime
So
basically is the evil version of Prime.
Yep.
That
Depending
is
on which
easiest way
timeline
to
kau tengok, it can be from Cybertron or it can be created or manufactured. So it depends. Kalau kau tengok G1 Nemesis Prime was an idea that was a prime that was created by Megatron, tak salah aku kan? That version of Prime. Kan there was an episode where there was the black color, purple color Prime.
Yeah.
So and then it as the lore grew bigger, then they made Nemesis Prime into something new. So kau tengok timeline, kau kena tengok cerita Transformers apa yang kau tengok. Kalau kau tengok War for Cybertron, they have incorporated Nemesis Prime into canon.
Wow.
Whatever canon is.
Basically, the important thing about Nemesis Prime ni is that what would happen if Optimus fights his evil Nemesis? Literally 1-to-1 Prime against an evil Prime.
Yeah.
Of the evil Optimus. So memang tengok siapa hati lagi kental lah. Tu je lah.
Okay,
Tak payah
guys,
follow
so-
pun Nemesis Prime nasi goreng. Biasa-biasa je.
Itulah. Kalau kau
Tapi
Lebih baik kau follow
tapi-
Galvatron. Galvatron lagi cool.
Galvatron lagi.
There is
Sure.
there is a Transformer series di mana Shattered Mirror ke Shattered Glass, where all the Autobots are the villains and the Decepticons are the good guys. So itu different story So
Wow. Elseworlds,
Yeah.
so
Autobots
Elseworld,
adalah
literally
scientists.
flip the role.
They were very misguided scientists. So diorang jadi macam, kau bayangkan saintis-saintis yang terlalu taksub sangat nak defend,
Ya.
nak pegang Cybertron punya prinsip. Lepas tu Megatron sebagai the military arm kata tak boleh lah macam ni. So dia lawan. Pretty cool.
Optimus Prime jadi apa autocratic
Jadi fascist.
fascist lah Like
Wow,
cara
babi.
aku betul, cara kau salah. Like what?
Wow.
Dia jadi macam Mahathir. Oops.
Alright guys, so dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke sebab hamba kita yang kelima. Alright, so kita dah bincang ni sikit, tapi sebab hamba kita yang terakhir adalah tentang tropes seperti the giant SkyBeam dan juga the big bad cloud. So soalan pertama adalah untuk Syaz, korang buat terbalik Okey, untuk Jamal, apakah pendapat anda tentang balik-balik filem superhero ke filem sci-fi zaman moden ni always end up with a giant beam shooting up into the sky, either in the first act ataupun the third act ataupun I think kau dah discuss sikit, but silakan Jamal.
Aku rasa sebab naturally as humans kita akan cuba menulis tentang sesuatu yang kita tak faham. Dan cerita hidup ni adalah cerita kita trying to find our place in a world where we don't understand. And our life is all about making sense of all that's happening around us lah. So bila aku tulis cerita-cerita macam superhero ni, which are very aspirational stories kan, kita menjulang adiwira-adiwira, dan adiwira-adiwira ni adalah adiwira-adiwira yang telah direka dan dalam rupa dewa dan dewi. Kerana benda ni melambangkan, dia satu simbolism, ia melambangkan hasrat kita untuk be the best or be better, be right, be good, kan, semua ideal yang besar. Jadi bila kau buat cerita-cerita yang ada banyak bermain dengan fantasi dan imajinasi, dan di mana like kau sedang mencari makna dan erti hidup ni, you tend to go down there lah. So bila kau buat macam tu, kau ada the sky as a backdrop, bumi dan langit. Benda tu adalah satu, visually it is a very it is a very, bukan eye-catching, it is a very, it's the perfect visual representation of this sense of like kita kecil je dalam dunia ni kita tak tahu pun ada apa. So bumi dan langit kan ada height. Kita kat bumi kecil, lepas tu kita ada langit besar, sebesar-besar yang sejauh mana mata memandang. And lepas dia lagi tu ada angkasa lepas yang kita tak tahu besar mana pun. So nak menunjukkan betapa kecilnya kita, betapa insignificantnya kita. Jadi bila ada shot-shot ataupun idea-idea di mana ada satu sinar mencapah pergi ke mencucuk langit atau menerobos ke angkasa lepas, ia adalah satu simbolik kepada mungkin ini adalah momen yang kita find the meaning of the world, find the meaning for us, di mana kita memulakan langkah untuk melihat betapa besarnya alam ni. So it's those kind of things lah kan. So kalau beam tu ke atas dan kita boleh sampai kat langit, mungkin kita dalam konteks kita boleh sedikit sebanyak merealisasikan aspirasi kita untuk menjadi sehebat dewa dan dewi yang kita follow atau julang ni. Dia macam tu je, because this is language, this is creative, this is why it's always that visual works. It is not necessarily what the film is about. It's not necessarily about kenapa pelukis komik lukis komik dan cipta Spawn ke apa benda ke. Tak ada kena-mengena pun. Tapi that shot, kenapa kena ada SkyBeam? Ya, generally benda-benda macam tu. Cerita-cerita macam tu adalah cerita yang best. Sebab apa? Kau tak payah explain pun, dan apa-apa benda yang kau explain boleh jadi betul. Oh, kenapa kita kena pergi ke langit? Alien kat luar? Kita pun tak tahu alien tu macam mana. So, apa filem kita buat pasal alien boleh menjadi betul. Simple. Sebab tu bila kau buat cerita yang bertapak di bumi yang nyata, kau tak boleh pakai benda-benda ni sebab aku tengok kau tengok aku cakap dengan kau cakap dengan aku, kita gaduh, benda tu boleh settle. Ada conclusion je. Tapi untuk cerita-cerita macam ni, dia tak ada conclusion. Dan bila kau bawa benda tu down to earth, then it becomes a human story. Dan robot tu pergi mana? Alien tu pergi mana kan? We cannot write that story. Dan bila kita tulis cerita pasal alien ni pun in our image. Oh, Optimus Prime jahat baik, Decepticon Megatron jahat. Optimus Prime ni macam demokrasi, Decepticon ni macam dictator. Semua dalam image kita. Sebab kita tengok dunia ni, itu yang kita nampak. We see the world in our eyes, through our eyes, in our lens. Kita tak tahu, kita tak pernah tengok alien. Yang dah pernah tengok alien tu, bolehlah kongsi korang punya pengalaman kat sini, mungkin kita boleh belajar benda baru. But that's it lah, itu je. So bila kau adaptasi IP yang alien robots macam ni, there's no other way to describe it, because the aliens will always come from outer space, and when they come to Earth, they will always come through our atmosphere, which is the sky. So, and when they travel pun between one planet to one planet, memang kau kena masuk through atmosphere kan. So memang nak tak nak kau kena pakai image langit, kau kena pakai image beam, dan the rest is just your imagination lah. Dia nak pakai kapal spaceship macam Independence Day, dia nak pakai teleport ataupun beam ke macam Thor, you know, it's just a matter of your imagination. So pada aku macam it feels tiring, but which is why interestingly kau tak pernah tengok dalam mana-mana kartun Transformers daripada G1 pergi ke Jepun, and then you go to Robots in Disguise, you go to Prime, you go to Earthspark, you have never seen them bother about this bit. We will not tell you and show you how Transformers ended up on Earth. You will immediately get sucked into the story of what is happening when right now as everyone here is on Earth. Tu je. Because there's no point. No one is ni. Tapi dalam filem, sebab benda tu sejam setengah, kau kena ada hujung, kau kena ada pangkal. So you always feel like you have to explain how people came up. Dalam filem tu lah kau kena bagi backstory. Dalam filem tu lah kau kena bagi background. Dalam filem tu lah kau kena set up the premise. Dalam filem tu juga kau kena set up the conflict. Dalam filem tu juga kau kena resolve semua benda ni. Tapi dalam filem tu juga kau nak tunjuk dia punya skill, dia punya move, dia punya CGI. Semua benda lah kau nak tunjuk dalam sejam setengah. Memang tak sempat lah. So, ni je. So aku rasa macam, for me the best Transformers film is TF2 dengan Bumblebee. Because both films did not really bother about all this. Okay, sekarang kita ada robot kat bumi, dan robot ni buat benda macam ni, dan geng baik buat lawan, geng baik jahat buat baik. That's it. Straight up. Bumblebee was great because it told the story of a robot on Earth. Quite literally, that's it. So kau tak perlu nak tak perlu nak macam, dia tak kisah sama ada audience nak tahu ke macam mana robot-robot ni datang, kenapa robot-robot ni datang. They don't get preoccupied with that. Yeah, so that's why those films work.
Alright. Soalan seterusnya adalah untuk Shaz. Apakah pendapat anda tentang Unicron? Supposedly a world-threatening consuming planets is portrayed dalam filem ni as a big bad cloud yang dikalahkan oleh Optimus macam tu je. Aku rasa aku dapat Galactus vibe tu. Tapi betul lah, kita nampak sikit dia punya taring tu, dia punya horn semua keluar.
Ketam. Unicron sebenarnya ketam.
Betul habis. Macam babi lah, kau hancurkan bridge, betul, that's it. So silakan. What the fuck boleh.
Before that aku nak komen yang the nasi goreng punya you share one guy punya. Ni. Finally now in Generation 1 the Decepticons punya home base kat dasar laut.
Nah, G1. Sebab dia orang punya plane tu crash kat dalam laut.
Crash kat laut. So they always have a macam submarine punya pole, buka the Decepticons will come out.
Oh, actually by the way, Aku sambung trivia kau. Kalau korang siapa-siapa yang tengok G1 rasa tak aci, asal Decepticons semua kapal terbang, Autobot semua kereta. That was the reason why Decepticons semua kapal terbang. Kapal dia orang jatuh kat laut. So bila dia orang scan nak cari any kind of machinery, yang dia orang jumpa semua kalau bukan kapal terbang lah. That's it. That's how they all became planes.
Okay. Unicron this one mungkin banyak sembang sebab I actually requested for the swap question. Okay, so first the representation of Unicron dalam both Bayformers dengan Bumblebee tu ni is sangat subpar kalau kita compare dengan the original appearance of Unicron in 1986 punya kartun. Because satu, they fail to achieve diorang punya goals. Unicron dalam the animated punya filem almost achieve his goals, tapi dikalahkan oleh special MacGuffin called The Matrix. So yang tu yalah masa budak kita nak tengok lah dia menang kan, so okay kita terima. But if you look at it from today punya standpoint, dia kalah dengan MacGuffin But regardless, kalau kita compare the Unicron dalam cerita live action ni, dia punya you tak rasa dia punya dread and terror tau. Sebab dalam you compare with the animated punya show, he was always moving from planet to planet. He was eating non-stop tau. Sampai Cybertron punya moon dua-dua kena makan. Initially Cybertron ada moon So when it is literally dalam perkarangan Cybertron, it's just a matter of like thinking, aku nak makan ke tak Cybertron ni? Aku nak makan ke tak? So it was only bila Megatron yang diubah jadi Galvatron cuba nak rebel, I am now in control of you kan, sebab dia curi the Matrix, barulah dia transform into the full robot mode. So dekat sini kita dah tengok the fact that Unicron dalam live action ni barely does anything. Dia punya lagu dia I was waiting for so long for them to play the soundtrack from the 1986 punya filem. Ada ke? I really had to bayangkan dekat cinema ni saya kena pegang tinggal ada ke? Memang ada, but you can barely hear it. Compare dengan the animated punya version, I suggest you guys tengok lah. Kalau you want to see how Unicron is done well, the animated film is the best. Dia punya lagu right is front and center dia terus macam industrial style punya music, straight to dia punya beat dia, and they use the same song from start to end. Every time keluar je lagu ni keluar. So dalam your head kan, every time you hear this music, you know big trouble is going to happen. Either a planet or moon akan dimakan, or it is the setup for the next Decepticon punya movement, which is not just saja-saja he literally points to where Galvatron and crew had to go. So he was a good tactician, cuma dia percaya kepada orang yang backstab dia in the end. He was strong enough to eat planets. It took the entire Autobot and Decepticon forces to try to even stop him, and gagal juga. Cuma bila Matrix was opened from within himself, barulah dia punya internal semua rosak. So you bayangkan, it took the entire Transformers universe at that point of time to try to stop him. Kalau compare dengan sekarang ni, pecahnya dia punya link by Optimus Prime tu, terus the whole gateway was removed and then dia kalah terus. So it feels very wasted jugalah, sebab we didn't see him transform. Dia cuma tunjuk, oh dia ni robot sebab kenapa? Nampak mata, hi guys, Scourge, like it's me. You didn't have to do that. You just have to show him in the distance like a moving planet, slow and lumbering, and yet you know that is huge because you boleh tunjuk planet-planet kat tepi-tepi dia tengah makan planet. Like, I am feeding. What is so urgent? Like, oh, we failed. Lepas tu dia stop makan, And then dia akan torture Scourge lah. So dia punya, itulah kalau kita tengok he barely did anything. He was a plot character. There was no need pun untuk show Unicron throughout the entire show except for the cold opening, and you will still have a good show because they wanted to find the key, and then in the end they gagal to find the key, so that will allow Unicron to properly show up dalam Bumblebee 3. But unfortunately sebab dia dah kena cut off macam ni, I feeling dia takkan return lah. I think that's it. You just don't get the sense of karakter ni sangat pandai, sangat evil. Sebab dia makan, dia tak peduli planet, dia makan je. I feel like eating, ada robot ke apa, human ke semua, dia makan. So it was very, as a kid, it was very scary. Tapi mungkin by today punya generation, kalau dia orang tengok this representation of Unicron kan, dengan just asap and clouds and everything, it doesn't feel very scary lah.
Itulah, it's rasa rugi lah, I feel.
I think the cold opening should have been Unicron and Cybertron, or just show Unicron how big Unicron is, instead of wasting time showing us how Scourge was killing Abang Primer. That's it.
Yeah.
Kalau kita tunjuk Unicron dan orang akan faham.
Kita nampak shot yang Unicron makan planet dia orang kan, eventually. Did we not see that?
Like we have to get out of here. Dia cabut.
Tapi even then aku tak suka the way they depicted it, because they did not give us a sense of scale. Now, bila kau tengok ID4 Independence Day yang back in 1997 kan, there's a great video on this, walaupun video ni dah bertahun-tahun usianya di YouTube. Every frame a painting. It's a film writer dissecting based on screenplays. So dia breakdown macam mana kau tahu betapa besarnya kapal alien yang nak datang ke bumi untuk filem ID4 tu. Kau nampak scale tu. Untuk benda-benda macam tu memang kau tak payah tunjuk the whole ship, sebab skala tu telah memberikan kau satu gambaran yang besar gila babi sial. Okay. For Unicron bila kau buat macam tu, sayang, sebab the thing about Unicron, yang cool about Unicron is not whether it eats planets or not, is you need to fucking see this planet transforms into a giant fucking robot that is as big or even bigger than the planets he eats. So bila kau nampak dia punya tu, dia cucuk macam gigi tengah gigit planet tu, kau tak boleh bayangkan what it is yet, because you may not have seen Unicron. But for those yang dah pernah tengok Unicron macam kita macam, yep, mana transformation sequence-nya, mana robot yang gagah, yang ada benda-benda macam whatever you call that tu, tak ada.
Mana dia punya
dia janggut kan. So we lose all that, right? So in the sense, bila aku petik skala ni, macam yang Independence Day tu, it works because the alien, kita tak pernah tengok alien. So bila intro kita tunjuk skala tu, ya Allah, makhluk apa yang besarnya, spaceship dia lagi besar daripada bumi, kita dah jadi takut sebab ada bayang-bayang tu kan. Tapi ni Unicron, ni robot. Jadi bila kau tunjuk dia setakat gigit planet tu nak makan, you know, kau tunjuk je planet tu meletup, hilang, kena telan, pun sama juga, you achieve the same effect. So apa point kau spend money untuk CGI nak tunjuk scene gigit tu, nak tunjuk the details on the surface of Unicron punya gigi-gigi punya ketamnya tu, tak ada point. If you had done the cold opening to show like Unicron tengah transform, lepas tu macam dia dah makan satu planet, and then kita pan out, lepas tu kita nampak dia actually transform, lepas tu jadi robot ke apa benda ke, then macam alright. Tapi aku tak tahu lah, mungkin diorang rasa benda tu akan buat benda ni jadi trivial, akan nampak macam, you know, kalau kita tunjuk planet tu transform jadi robot, orang akan rasa cerita ni cerita budak-budak. Dude, you're already spending millions to make the film, and that shit is actually the source material, just do it lah. So that's why Shaz did not get that feeling, because kau tak nampak Unicron tu apa. Kau tak nak tunjuk pun. Lepas tu kau tunjuk Scourge, yang kau tahu Scourge ni akan confirm kena tapau lah, sebab Optimus Prime mana boleh kalah. So, you know, so aku rasa macam sayang. Because it's Unicron. This is how Unicron have been wasted for many Transformers IPs, even in Transformers Prime semua, Unicron has been wasted like this. Yang B punya the idea, the premise was good, tapi biasalah B execution, semua filem video clip. So kau takkan dapat storytelling yang best, tak ada storytelling. Sayang.
I think personally there is only one guy in Hollywood that can do scale properly, and nama dia adalah Guillermo del Toro. Just watch Pacific Rim from start to finish. How like the kaiju can never fill up the whole scene, especially dekat opening masa dekat bridge tu, because they fucking huge, man. They fucking huge. Betul lah. Shaz?
So one more benda aku nak complain pasal Unicron, aku lupa pula, because I was so annoyed by the fact that he was so underrepresented. The robots that he said to assist Scourge was nothing. Semua tikus-tikus. You just expect to swarm. Where are the Scourge level punya threats? Instead of sending like 1000, 50, 100 or the small tikus punya style punya robots, why don't send like 5 Scourge? Memang habis lah. That would have been much better use of resources. Because dalam the original punya animated film, dia transformkan Megatron and a whole bunch of Decepticons yang dah kalah, yang dah injured semua ni, he rebuild them into Cyclonus, into Megatron and Scourge, which is where they take the name from lah, which is kebetulan Scourge the tracker. So ni macam best ni, tick check mark, so let's take this guy, masuk.
But I'm annoyed because Scourge, that's it. Scourge was a tracker, and as much as I preferred Cyclonus punya design, because Cyclonus punya kapal tu lawa gila, Scourge punya robot form siap ada janggut lagi, style gila babi. So sayang lah. It's a waste. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like, you can use Unicron all you want, but just use it lah. Like, you don't even use Unicron, you just use its name. I feel like it's a waste lah. And kalau nak macam mana, orang yang suka filem ni, yang bukan suka lah, orang yang enjoy filem ni, they are not gonna be as invested into the IP. They would be invested in the film, but they're not necessarily invested in the IP. So aku macam tak peduli lah, your opinion is fine and valid. Tapi kepada orang yang support filem ni, or at least how this film depicted Scourge, for me, Scourge dengan Galvatron dalam Transformers 3 atau 4 sama je. Bazir gila babi. So sayang.
Are we gonna talk about Optimus Prime?
Kau nak cakap apa tentang Optimus Prime?
Just tambah soalan bonus sebab this was the part that annoyed me the most dalam the film. Silakan. So Optimus Prime from G1 was noble, brave, heroic. That was kalau kita tengok interview Peter Cullen pun, dia cakap, bila dia cakap dengan abang dia, saya nak voicekan Lori, abang dia macam like, betul ni kan? So dia explain, if you're gonna do Prime, do it heroic, do it someone who is strong enough to be kind. Tak silap aku dia punya wording. And that's how he came up with Optimus Prime punya voice. So bila I tengok in Bumblebee, it's like, oh my god, they're bringing the 80s Prime. They're finally gonna do the proper heroic Prime that was strong enough to be kind. I was so hyped. Bila masuk filem ni after so many years, kenapa Prime ni macam up to the point dia lawan Scourge, like, oh yes, this is the Prime we wanted, the hero. Lepas tu dia kena kalah dengan Scourge, dia terus jadi macam, I takut nak lawan lah. Macam like, who's this? This is not Optimus Prime. Dan then dia macam like, dia punya fighting tu macam not very good, not very brave. But the part that annoyed me was when the interaction dengan the humans and the Maximals. Maximals kata, oh, dia ni bukanlah hero yang kita sangkakan. So like, okay, that is actually correct. Macam, why is Prime not the leader that he is supposed to be kan? So like, okay, you're right. And then lepas tu kena diss pula dengan the humans yang dias tu. Macam like, sorry I am not going to take advice from somebody who cannot protect his own planet. Wow. I mean, yes, itu memang perli gila lah, pedas lah, but it does goes to show that the Prime was not effective in this world. He did not lead his team very well. He did not fight very well. His main advice was like, kita kena sorok, guys, tak sorok. I told you, jangan interact dengan humans. Why would you do this? When clearly dalam the first film, he said, regroup. Dekat Earth tu, you're supposed to regroup. Where was the regrouping process? Tak ada. In fact, at the end of film Bumblebee 1 pun dia dah cakap, it's like there will be more coming and so on, we have to prepare. Tak silap aku.
It's the 7 years we didn't get to see. It's the 7 years.
Yes, so that was a film that should have been given to us. We didn't need Unicron. Maximus come out later on pun bagus, because then we have shown what they could have done is Optimus Prime leading the recovery or finding the missing Autobots. The Decepticons start coming in force, so now they have to do guerrilla warfare, which explains why they have to hide, because now the Decepticons are coming in force. Sekali jumpa Decepticon 45. So it can be generic Decepticons lah. Seekers banyak. You have a lot of other random throwaway Decepticons, nameless ones. But that would justify why in 7 years he ended up being like, we need to hide, because there was a massive battle that caught the attention of even the humans, which ultimately lead to the spoiler of the G.I. Joe noticing these people. Like, why is there a lot of reports of benda meletup and benda besar dalam gelap, tiba-tiba keluar lampu laser, lepas tu hilang balik. So like, something's going on. Because kita kena tengok dari perspektif of the humans. So there was no character development. Prime, from a heroic leader in Bumblebee, boleh suruh semua berambus, I will meet you guys there, lompat daripada tiang tower tu, land on a plane. Macam like, oh, that 5 minutes was arguably as good or potentially even better than the animated film. So that Prime, what happened to him in 7 years? Dia jadi penakut, dia tak yakin dengan diri sendiri, and then macam like dengan human pun dia boleh kena dis. Like, wow, they really treated Prime very bad. So that was one of the biggest issues I had lah. Itu yang lepas filem tu macam like, I do not know, I enjoy ke filem ni, tapi macam there's a lot of annoyance inside the film. So when dah sampai time untuk to process everything, then I realised that the treatment of Optimus Prime was very bad. Dalam Maximus pun, I'm not as emotionally tied to the Maximus punya faction, but I imagine a lot of the Maximal fans pun macam like, Maximal ni macam penakut je, sorok je kan. So I think the heroism was written out quite a lot to give way to the humans punya heroism and supporting the Autobots. So itulah my opinion tu, memang Optimus Prime dengan Unicorn were really wasted lah as characters.
Yeah, for me this film is basically Hasbro and siapa studio yang produce, whichever studio lah yang produce ni.
Paramount Pictures.
Okay, so it's basically Paramount Pictures dengan Hasbro buat balik apa yang Hasbro buat masa 80-an dan 90-an, tapi minus the toys. Itu je. Because back then in the day, diorang buat je cerita tu. Cerita yang keluar yang kita suka, yang orang-orang jiwan sayang semua tu, kalau kau tengok balik, none of us will say that it was the best cartoon because it has the best storytelling. No, it was the best cartoon because of how simple it was, how straightforward it was, how novel the idea was, and all that. Okay, kalau kita tengok balik, you will not last 5 straight episodes, sebab akan ada episode yang macam, ya Rabbi, this is so shit, it happens, okay? So in that sense, the 90s cartoon will lose out to the cartoon from the noughties and the 2010s. Itu senang je, because cartoons from the noughties and 2010s semua dah macam risau, okay, every episode is a self-contained story, cerita tu kena best, which is why kalau kau tak minat Ben 10 tapi anak saudara kau tengok Ben 10, kau boleh duduk kat situ layan dengan dia, because every episode is good. Kau tak boleh cakap apa. Kau mungkin tak suka character design sebab kau rasa benda tu generic dan tiru anime lah, tiru ini, tapi cerita dia best, cartoon tu best. But going back to Transformers, the nostalgia is strong kat situ. But that in and of itself shows how strong the IP is. Kau tak perlu tengok G1 dan nak kata kenapa kau tak ikut episod 7 season 2. Tak payah, sebab episod tu memang tak best pun. But shit, kau tengok karakter je, kau tengok silhouette je, kau dengar suara je, kau tengok orang buat YouTube punya montage, cutting 30 seconds from random episodes out of context je pun kau rasa macam best je kartun ni. That is how fucking strong the IP is. Okay, regardless whether zaman tu masa dia orang buat permainan ni, lepas tu dia buat kartun tu, dia memang nak Optimus Prime to become this heroic. That's irrelevant. Memang this is how strong the IP is. So bila kau buat cerita macam ni dan kau overthink benda tu, sebab kau nak kena dengar orang marketing kata okay, orang yang nak datang tengok wayang kena adalah orang-orang macam ni, kita nak jual kat China so market macam tu, nanti bila orang-orang kita nak market benda ni kat social media, so banyak social media banyak budak-budak Gen Z ke millennial ke apa benda ke, so kita nak kena tampung banyak gila babi benda /messaging /agenda dan macam-macam lagi. Then the essence of the IP, the imagination, the creativity, the ideas hilang lah. Sebab semua benda tu dia jadi vehicle kepada kita kena buat filem so kita boleh buat make back the money. Kita kena buat filem yang menunjukkan manusia ni. That is not Transformers. Semua ni messaging, semua ni ideal yang orang kau yang nak letak dalam cerita tu. If you just do a Transformers content, whatever it is, macam kau tengok Spider-Verse, people will come and then people yang akan kata, oh sebenarnya sini aku relate sebab dia mengingatkan aku kepada agenda ni, kepada peristiwa ni. People are giving it meaning because they want to be attached with it so much. Instead of you trying to tell people, get attached to this, get attached to this. So this is basically Paramount and Hasbro repeating what Hasbro did back in the 80s minus the toys. We don't even get the toys. It's so sad. So it's sayang lah, sayang. When you are in a world where every other writer that grew up during the same period or is fairly familiar with the IP memang kata, aku nak tulis Transformers, tak kisahlah satu episod ke, masuk writing team ke, ya siapa tak nak Transformers, sial. Everybody will say that, and nobody says that about G.I. Joe. Everybody will say that about Transformers. So sayang sangat. And we don't want G.I. Joe, we don't need G.I. Joe, we don't need a G.I. Joe tie-in. Joes do not have the tech for Transformers, man. So again, I think ni Hasbro nak jadi Hasbro balik. tapi kau nampak inilah Hasbro yang sebenarnya. At least dulu, sebab zaman dulu dia kecil-kecil, dia muda lagi kan. So dia innocent lah. Aku buat toy, aku buat kartun nak jual toy, simple. Tapi sekarang Hasbro dah jadi lain. Dia dah jadi conglomerate, dia dah jadi company besar, dia corporate, dia nak buat duit. Lagi dalam pedoman. Stock market semua, dalam pedoman je. So sayang lah. Like you can fuck up everything, you just don't fuck up Transformers and you will be fine for the rest of your life. Tak nak kacau juga. No comments. Aku rasa for me this film I can watch it many times. I just don't have to think about it. And the only reason aku tengok benda ni, jangan gelak is because aku suka how they animated Mirage and aku suka how they animated Primal. But that's it. It's very visual, very surface level. There is absolutely no attachment to it. Aku akan pasang filem ni bila aku nak buat kerja and I just need white noise around me. Okay? And that's it. Filem yang aku tak payah tengok, aku dengar dialog, I know what the fuck is happening because you do not spend that much thought when crafting the film. Because kalau aku tak tengok, aku dengar dialog pun I know what's going on and whatever I didn't watch is not gonna be a loss. Sayang lah. It's there's so many things you can do with Transformers, man. And you have to do the baiting of like making the stupid plane and old Transformers.
Itu lagi satu masalah sikit. RC boleh masuk dalam wheeljack and she's in the back of the seat. And then it's like Mirage dengan Optimus boleh masuk dalam kapal terbang pakcik ni. How fucking big are you, man? Aku macam bodoh.
No, okay. This is the thing. Kalau kau bagi point kau, kalau kau punya passing remark macam tu, I can imagine somebody from the team that is not one with the writing team or someone yang invested dengan the IP, dia akan reply, relax lah, Astro Train boleh je. Ya, memang, because that is Astro Train.
Boleh muat Devastator
Dia
weh.
siapa? Pakcik dia siapa? Aku tak kenal pakcik ni. Astro Train tak kentut, Astro Train tak muntah spare part.
Bodoh dia,
Yep.
bodoh.
Aku suka Jamal punya statement that he puts the movie as white noise. Sebab I play Transformers the animated punya filem tu. I think dah 40-50 kali dah kot last I kira. And it motivates me tau. So you bayangkan a cerita macam Rise of the Beast ni is just white noise. Like without like tak ada apa benda, just blah 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 blah. Compared to how much hype the animated film was back then. So yeah, I guess that shows a reflection of the directions zaman dulu dengan zaman sekarang punya
Yes,
filem.
tak payah pakai hype. Tak payah pakai hype that what the hype of the animated film back then. Kepada yang tak tengok animated film lagi, tapi yang tahu je, kau tak payah tengok G1 pun. Okay? Kalau kau pergi tengok je animated film tu. Okay? Kau tak payah tengok G1 nak bertahu, just fucking watch it. You will get it. That animated film alone is enough material for you to do another run of films.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
They butchered it. They did Out God.
Itulah.
Hot rod bro, hot rod. Kepada mereka-mereka yang nak jadi hang jebat, kepada mereka-mereka yang rasa aku rockstar tapi sebenarnya aku rockstar yang boleh jadi ketua, aku ada leadership capability tapi aku cuma berdarah muda. Hot rod bro, hot rod. Tak ada. Aku macam sayang Rabbi. And yeah, you gave us Miraj, thanks. Yeah, he's pretty cool. We don't need him, but yeah, we welcome him, we appreciate him. But dude, if you can do Miraj, buatlah hot rod, you know. Don't have to do whatever you've been doing. So aku rasa, I just feel that, you know, I think this is the problem with IPs like this, di mana it's just an IP. Anyone can pay for the license and do whatever content they want. You know, and kita tak ada community ataupun some kind of body atau organisation or group macam Tolkien punya family yang kata, okay, kau nak buat lah. Tapi ini, kalau kau nak buat macam ni, kita orang tak acknowledge benda ni as something that we endorse. So kalau fan tak layan kau punya work ni, walaupun kau campak 500 juta, kau jangan marah kita orang. Sebab kita orang tak feel benda tu. You are leveraging on our fucking fan base and our fucking IP to make money. So if you don't do it our way, which is the real reason why it becomes an IP of your choice, then you pandai-pandai kau. I don't care how you want to waste your 500 million. But if you ask us, this is Transformers can be that, and that's, I think, thanks a lot to Michael Bay. It's not that lah. When making it live action would have been the very thing that makes Transformers that kind of IP. So sayang lah.
Alright, kita ada satu soalan menyimpang untuk mengakhiri segmen ini. Ahmad Muaz bertanya soalan luar topik, adakah korang akan bedah Foundation Season 2? Unfortunately, based on the data of penonton, nampaknya Foundation tak cukup popular di Malaysia. Sama juga dengan Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. So bila Wheel of Time ke, Foundation ke, ataupun Rings of Power kembali untuk season 2 mereka, unfortunately kita tak akan cover. Kita akan tonton and kita akan pitch dekat WhatsApp je, unfortunately. So
Nick,
selamat menonton.
Nick, aku nak betulkan statement kau sikit. Tadi kau cakap based on the data, Foundation tak popular kat Malaysia macam Lord of the Rings. Ayat tu salah. Lord of the Rings tak popular. Lord of the Rings tak popular, notah. Okay? Sekian, terima kasih. Itu je kena betulkan.
Betul. Yes. Banyak juga
jangan
orang
baca
tanya
Reddit
aku,
ya
tak
tuan-tuan.
cover tak Rings of
Kalau korang
Power?
tak tengok lagi, korang nak tengok, korang tengah fikir nak tengok ke tak, jangan baca Reddit. Sebab kalau kau baca Reddit, kau akan ada gang Lord of the Rings best dan betul dan Pukimak semua ni tak faham apa yang sedang cuba dilakukan dengan gang macam dadah lah tu. So jangan baca Reddit, jangan jadi macam aku, stress.
Alright, so kita dah cover 5 sebab mengapa kita rasa Transformers Rise of the Beast hampir ataupun hamba. Dengan itu kita akan ke segmen harapan kami untuk franchise. Transformers. Alright, so aku hanya ada satu soalan untuk kedua-dua panelis. Apakah harapan anda untuk dua benda? Nombor satu, filem sequel live action Transformers X G.I. Joe yang diurus-uruskan bakal diarah oleh Steven Caple Jr. again. Dan kedua, filem animasi Transformers 1, sebuah prequel lakonan Chris Hemsworth sebagai Orion Pax aka Optimus Prime, Scarlett Johansson sebagai Elita 1, Brian Tyree Henry sebagai Megatron, Keegan Michael Key sebagai Bumblebee, Lawrence Fishburne sebagai Alpha Trion, dan John Hamm sebagai Sentinel Prime. So kita mulakan dengan Shazli. Silakan Shazli. Are you happy about the G.I. Joe punya tease? It's the, oh my god, G.I. Joe. So silakan.
My hopes for G.I. Joe X Transformers will be very low. Sebab instead of the Bumblebee route, they return back to the Bayformers punya style of Transformers storytelling. So in the end, the humans will steal the show. So it will be a G.I. Joe punya story lah. The Transformers will be the supporting role. Nak jawab the second one sekali ke? Okay, so for the second one, I kena dengar test. I need to hear their characters at least one time bercakap. Like it or not, aku memang very particular about their voices, especially Optimus Prime. Bila it's not the same style of voice tu, macam like susah lah aku nak tengok cerita ni. It might be one of the best Transformers ever written, but disebabkan I got that bias of wanting Optimus Prime to sound a certain specific way, similar to G1, so it really affects my appreciation for the material, to the point where kalau suara dia lain sangat, aku macam I skip, I pass.
I mean Hemsworth akan menjadi Orion Pax. Dia tak jadi Optimus lagi. Itu dia punya alasan lah. Itu alasan dia.
Yeah, hopefully lah. Maybe that might be a surprise casting lah. Mungkin tiba-tiba surprise Peter Cullen is Optimus. Ooh! They'll be like, I'll be like, what's that? Allah ni, menyesal aku tak tengok masa dia first keluar celaka lah. Kena tipu.
Alright.
But I'll give it a try lah. I'll give it a try, that's for sure.
Seterusnya Jamal, pendapat kau about the two future of the franchise?
Aku berharap filem G.I. Joe X Transformers atau Transformers X G.I. Joe tidak dibikin. Sekian, terima kasih. Tak perlu. Buatlah Transformers, buatlah G.I. Joe. Buatlah cerita filem Transformers yang hampir, buatlah filem G.I. Joe yang hampir. Aku akan tengok dan kutuk, tapi aku akan tengok. Sebab apa? Aku kecil-kecil tengok benda ni. I rush back from school and make sure I don't go out at 5 o'clock to play football, or I play football at 6 o'clock. Because cerita ni pukul 5.30, so aku kena tengok dulu cerita ni sebelum aku play. Pada 5.30 kat 15, yes. And I will hate it if it's shit. But hey, it's G.I. Joe man, it's Transformers man. Tapi G.I. Joe X Transformers in this, aku harap dia tak dibikin. Tak perlu, tak payah. Waste your money in some other way. You do not have to do this. Okay, you do not have to waste money in a way where you ruin two IPs in one film. You know what? You are already good at ruining one film at a time in long trilogies and quadrilogies, whatever you call it. Okay, tak perlu. Okay, you can waste money better than this by making more stupid Transformers films and more stupid G.I. Joe films. Okay, don't try to save money now and just try to kill two birds in one stone. No, don't. Okay. You don't have to try too hard to do that. Right. Tapi dan untuk Transformers 1, I will be watching it. Again, aku tak invested in it sebab this whole Prime Megatron dynamic dah banyak orang buat across multiple mediums, and more than half of them aku tak follow because some of the best things about Transformers is also one of its not worst things lah, one of its toughest things. It's Optimus Prime is a double-edged sword. The IP stayed alive because it's Transformers, but the reason why people love Transformers the way they do, one of it, if it's not Megatron, it's Prime. Okay, and sampai Megatron dengan Prime dah boleh jadi shorthand in pop culture for certain characteristics or certain acts of heroism or certain character punya apa nama framework. ataupun certain actions or certain scenes. That is how strong and these characters are. So bila kau nak buat filem Transformers atau IP baru Transformers, it is very difficult. Ini aku setuju dengan Nimbus. Lebih baik engkau buat Transformers X Fast and Furious.
Tapi Fast X dah tunjuk dah.
Transfurious. Okay? Di mana Prime yang macam Syah cakap tadi, dalam 7 tahun tu dia stres, dia kena lawan banyak Decepticons, dia tak tahu nak deal macam mana. Tetapi setelah Jazz ataupun Bumblebee atau siapa-siapa dicuri oleh Dominic Toretto, Bumblebee mengenalkan Dominic Toretto kepada Prime dan Prime telah belajar tentang bukan leadership, family. Dunia ini, alam ni adalah family yang besar dan Autobots mempunyai peranan dan tanggungjawab yang besar untuk memastikan pukimak-pukimak macam Decepticons ni tak merosakkan dan memecah belahkan family. Bro, kerana benda ni kau takkan gelak Tyrese pergi kat space masuk kereta sebab kereta tu bukan kereta, bro. Kereta tu Merican, kereta tu Jazz, kereta tu Blue Streak. This is what we want. If you want to do stupid shit, you do this shit. This shit, yes. Bro, bukan Dom tunggang Optimus, bro. Optimus tunggang Dom. Optimus tunggang Dom. Okay? You heard it here first. Okay, you heard it here first. Okay? And of course, bila orang-orang dah dengar aku shit post ni, no, I do not want G.I. Joe X Fast and Furious. Get the fuck off. Belah. Tak ada kena-mengena. Okay? Kau boleh G.I. Joe Naruto for all I care. Not G.I. Joe Fast and Furious. Leave that alone. But going back to what I was saying, aku rasa one is interesting. One is very difficult sebab when you do a Transformers IP, you have to make it about Prime. Kalau kau tak buat pasal Prime, people are not going to watch it. It's
this is about the origin of Prime. Bagaimana Orion Pax menjadi Prime in a sense.
Ya, tapi benda tu kau kena faham. Aku tengok, kau tengok, Shaz tengok. Budak. Aku tengok Optimus Prime cukup lah. Buat apa aku nak tahu macam mana Optimus Prime jadi Optimus Prime? Faham tak? And we have grown past that phase where aku nak tahu more pasal Prime. Because this was back in the 80s. So, why are you giving that content and putting a lot of money there when you know only fuckers like this are gonna watch it? And you are failing at every single fucking attempt to make Prime relevant in the current pop culture. So sayang lah. This is the double-edged sword that is Transformers. If you want to do it, you have to put Prime in. Tak boleh, sayang, kesian. Yep. And there's nobody, kalau kau tengok balik daripada semua Transformers, nobody bothered to take the time. Okay, kita buat Transformers generasi baru. Like literally new characters. Any iteration of the IP akan ada Prime. Lepas 2007, semua kena ada Bumblebee. So macam mana kau nak maju? Kau takkan boleh maju. Orang nak buat Bumblebee punya content more than orang nak buat Megatron punya content. You're not gonna change it. So sayang. Because I don't need to watch Transformers 1, but I will. But I'm not having any hopes. I just like great, and it's something more for me to watch, but that's about it lah. Sayang. And tu lah, sayang lah. Aku macam, okay lah. But for me, Transformers is one of those, okay, buku dah tutup. Sebab kalau kau nak buat karakter baru, orang-orang zaman dulu yang duk lukis toys tu, yang duk kena pecah kepala, okay, bulan depan kena pitch lagi 4 karakter baru sebab dia Hasbro nak buat mainan baru, orang-orang tu dah tak ada dah. These are the people that you need now to make sure that Transformers akan ada robot baru, akan ada karakter baru. Tapi orang-orang tu dah tak ada dah. You're not gonna bring back Cliff Jumper. Siapa minat Cliff Jumper sial? Gears. Aku tak nak tengok Gears. Muka pelik sial. You know? So siapa lagi? So kau pusing-pusing kau tengok dalam Decepticon ada 10 orang, dalam Autobot 10 orang. Takkan for the next 20 years kau nak buat filem berulang-ulang kali pasal 10 orang ni. Betul. Which is why Beast Wars was successful. Which is why Beast Machines was successful in its own right. Sebab Maximals was the first and only time, you know what? Let's do Transformers, but for new generation. But guess what? Hasbro being Hasbro, they fucked it up again. We tried some of the beasts. Sayang lah. So kalau if you guys want to get into Transformers and you're sick of Optimus Prime, watch Beast Wars. It is a great series. probably the best written Transformers series, even though it's not my favorite. But it has everything. It has everything. Redemption, great characters, great fight scenes. Orang jahat nak jadi baik sebab dia ada internal conflict. Ada orang baik jadi jahat sebab dia tak puas hati. Kenapa orang jahat asyik menang so dia nak jadi jahat? Ada. So it's pretty cool. Animation pun cantik.
Yes, that was early 2000s. Alright, so kita ada satu soalan terakhir untuk malam ni daripada Mofah yang bertanya, Magic the Gathering betul ke nak dapat TV series? Yes, ia akan jadi siri animasi di Netflix. Apakah pendapat panelis kalau Magic the Gathering diadaptasikan? So semua panelis malam ni main Magic the Gathering, tapi kita orang tak kisah pun tentang siri animasi ni yang dah terlambat selama 4 tahun. Kita tak kisah pun because I think it will be as shitty as, what was it? Was it the LOL or was it
Arcane.
Dota?
League of Legends. Arcane.
Arcane is next level. Tapi aku rasa yang Dota tu was like
Oh no. Yeah, Dota.
Yeah.
Dota.
Dota ada cerita.
Yes, it will be as shit and forgettable as the Dota punya Netflix kartun. Orang akan macam, ada, aku tak tahu pun.
Aku tengok 2 season Dota tu sebab aku tak nak buat apa. It's
alright. Pendapat kau tentang Magic the Gathering, the anime series daripada supposedly Russo Brothers, tapi dia dah caw daripada projek ni.
Dia caw selepas beberapa bulan. For me simple je. Kalau Magic nak buat, jangan bazir duit buat animation series. Kau ambil a portion of that money, you fix your lore first. Okay? Do a review. Kalau benda tu macam dah legends, macam Star Wars tu bawa masuk balik, whatever, clean it up. Lepas tu, you just do an adaptation on that in animation. Dah cukup. Sebab sekarang Mufah yang orang bising-bising dah 10, 15 dekat 20 tahun adalah benda ni. Dia macam Star Wars. Orang yang kata Law Magic ni best, Law Magic yang best hanya pada ketika di mana Wizards of the Coast bagi writer, kau nak buat buku pasal magic, kau tulis lah.
Buat novel.
Kau tulis je cerita kau.
Yes, sama novel. Ya.
Kau buatlah novel kau. Asalkan novel tu follow naratif ni, sebab ini dah memang dalam kita orang punya set. Kita orang tak tulis cerita ni. Kita orang bagi cerita tu je. So cerita tu semua datang dalam sinopsis. So kalau kau novelis, kau tulislah cerita pasal ni dalam cara kau. Lepas tu fast forward, dia orang macam okay, benda-benda ni semua kita tak pakai dalam official law, kita tulis sendiri. Yang dia tulis sendiri ni yang tak best. Certain writers best, certain writers tak best. Betul lah. So dia akan bakal dapat, tapi sekarang dia tak ada showrunner. Sebab showrunner dia dah belah.
Betul.
Showrunner dia belah, lepas tu pergi buat some TV series about spies dengan Priyanka Chopra yang apa benda entah.
Itu job je bro, itu job. Amazon punya
president
minta dia orang buat franchise. Itulah. Syaz, apa pendapat kau yang pelakon Superman Brandon Routh bakal menjadi Gideon Jura? Apa pendapat kau? So it's gonna be about the 5 planeswalkers yang kita kenal, the 5 colors.
Aku expect Syaz jawab soalan Gideon Jurang kau ni with the specific answer. Kalau aku tak dapat jawapan ni, aku kecewa.
Syaz, silakan Syaz.
So kalau kau kat laptop kau, Syaz, kau kena buka satu tab sekarang, kau type Gideon Jurang, kau baca Wikipedia cepat-cepat.
Aku tak payah sebab the fact that they are choosing to adapt on the 5 planeswalker is going to make it fail. Because the 5 planeswalker punya storyline is not as compelling as dia orang punya, sebab dalam Magic ni they have blocks of stories.
Yeah.
If they made the Brothers War, it would have been a much better storytelling than these planeswalkers that can do everything and do anything.
The Brothers War is human. Dia ada.
Betul, because the planeswalkers up to the recent sets, dia punya characters were very strong, sangat kuat. Yes, there were moments of sacrifice in certain stories. Ada yang mati, ada dapat power, ada yang bergaduh and so on. But those stories are not as fleshed out, and more importantly, it is not as relatable as the Brothers War, because the Brothers War follows a simple premise. Dua adik-beradik trying to reach enlightenment in their own way, tapi cara yang berbeza. So a simple philosophy ended up menyebabkan entire planes terbakar and setting up the story for the future. And dalam story ni there will be robots, there will be magic, there will be love stories, rise and fall of kingdoms. It's epic tau. So when you cakap so esok akan jadi Gideon Jura, aku dah no, I think kita dah gagal lah. The fact that you are going to focus on those place walkers which we cannot relate to is already an uphill battle.
Kepada orang-orang yang menonton Transformers dan suka dynamic Megatron dan Optimus that was portrayed to be brothers, Megatron nak jadi Prime tak dapat, Megatron pegang military, Optimus pegang scientist ke apa benda, and then Cybertron tengah nazak, and then both of them have very different ways to deal with it. Komik benda tu kau kali 10, di mana Megatron dan Optimus ni betul-betul adik-beradik dan kedua-duanya mencari jalan yang tak terbayang untuk mengubati Cybertron yang nazak, dan masing-masing berjaya untuk menghancurkan Cybertron.
Yeah.
Okay, that is Magic the Gathering.
Yang baik dan jahat gagal. Bayangkan like, what?
Yang baik jadi jahat, yang jahat kita simpati sebab lah kesian kat dia. Tak sangka dia kena tipu sampai jadi macam ni. Tapi dia sendiri tak kisah. Sebab aku rela, aku sanggup kerana abang aku yang celaka. So kau dapat cerita konflik gila babi macam ni. Padahal kau nak main card je, kau nak buat spell je.
Ya, itulah.
Yeah. Aku kecewa dengan jawapan Syaz kerana aku mengharapkan dia kata Brandon Ruth is not the best candidate for Gideon Jura. Vin Diesel is the best candidate for Gideon Jura. Sebab Gideon Jura is all about family. That was the answer that I was expecting from him.
Yeah, man.
Kecewa dengan dia. Aku kecewa dengan dia.
Tak apa, dia pemain baru bro, dia tak kenal Gideon Jura.
Gideon Jura adalah orang yang menjadi planeswalker bukan sebab dia nak jadi hero. Dia jadi hero sebab dia dalam momen yang dia sedar, fuck, aku punya pride telah membunuh keluarga aku.
Yes.
Dan aku ingat aku ni memang hero. Okay, now aku jadi hero. Sebab apa? Keluarga aku mati sebab aku.
Yeah.
Sebab aku nak sangat pride. Aku ingat aku hero sangat. So
sebab tu,
dia adalah hero yang macam
abilities is constantly to protect. Betul lah. Yeah.
Ability dia semua aku nak kena protect family aku nak kena protect orang aku. Kalau aku dekat plane ni, aku kena protect orang kat sini. Kalau ada pekimak lain nak kacau macam Eldrazi, aku kena protect lawan Eldrazi. Sebab apa?
Yeah.
Kalau aku tak protect, siapa lagi akan mati? Aku dah hilang family aku 4 orang. So, you know, that is fast and furious in Magic. So, yeah.
Alright, untuk mereka yang dah
tengok visual guide, kau tengok visual guide, kau pening kepala. Dia bukan konsep multiverse, dia planes. Dia adalah planes. Dia bukan multiverse.
Satu hari kita akan cover. Satu
hari akan kita cover.
Lepas tu kita akan bambu every episode. Alright. So soalan ni dah banyak orang tanya.
Kona. Oh, ini soalan best, bukan menyimpang. Soalan Kona.
Tak nak bedah ke Secret Invasion? Jawapannya adalah aku tunggu minggu depan. Kalau by episode minggu depan dia masih suang-suang kuku, lepas tu tak ke mana, macam the last 2 episodes ni, aku rasa aku tak cover pun. Terlalu banyak siri Disney Plus yang aku gigih cover tahun lepas, tapi tak ke mana pun. By episode terakhir baru macam surprise, tak ke mana. So yeah, thank you Shihab, thank you Hawkeye. So kita tengok macam mana lah minggu depan. Hopefully it gets better, but aku rasa I don't think I will
Hazim, dari kau tanya kenapa kita nak Nick nak buat bedah Secret Invasion ke tak, baik kau tanya dia nak bedah King of the Land ke tak?
King of the Land best tu. King of the Land best. Tapi Korea cerita drama, K-drama lah. So
why not? Dah pernah bedah kot.
Dah pernah, tapi the data bro, the data. Alright guys, so aku rasa dengan itu berakhirlah sesi spoiler talk kita malam ni. Yes, kita dah lama tak jumpa Jamal dan Shaz untuk satu stream dan bincang-bincang. Yeah man. So join us tomorrow di mana kita semua akan beraya, tapi maybe aku akan sempat keluarkan review bagi Indie 5. Lebih baik baca besar lah. Itu aku punya summary. Terima kasih kepada para panelis.
Aku ada suggestion macam mana nak bagi indie the next indie film jadi elok balik.
Macam mana?
Kau masukkan Vin Diesel.
Pasti dah. So terima kasih kepada para panelis kita, Muhammad Shazli Merican, Kaki Transformers kita, dan juga Jamal, Raslan, Kaki Buku kita. Terima kasih juga kepada korang yang setia menonton selama 2 jam 20 minit. Join us next week di mana kita bakal membincangkan banyak berita-berita pop culture yang terbaru bersama tim Munif dan Tuan hari Isnin. And then maybe kita akan bedah trailer, banyak juga trailer keluar minggu ni. So that's it untuk minggu ini. Terima kasih kerana menonton. Majalah Fandom untuk negara. Bye guys.